who may be trying to find a way to lower their electric bills this summer. Some energy companies are using door-to-door salespeople who may be putting out a lot of promises.
Senior Centers.
There's a warning tonight for
really important for the seniors to be able to stay cool.
Ramses Patch Shrimpery is off and running. In Ramses Patch, this was the opening
Good evening,
night.
everyone.
And while this fundraiser for the Chamber of Commerce there traditionally has all kinds of food choices.
And every night we celebrate the good deeds and achievements of folks.
Shrimp is
and every night we celebrate the good deeds or achievements of folks here in our community.
And tonight we're giving a thumbs up to Master Sergeant Benjamin Jenkins. He recently retired last week from the U.S. Air Force after 22 years. He was most recently stationed at NAS Corpus Christi. And a big thumbs up
and while
to
this
Master
fundraiser
Sergeant
for the
Jenkins.
Chamber of Commerce there traditionally has all kinds of food choices. At the Shrimpery, there's no doubt shrimp is king. And our Michelle Pedraza was there for us tonight.
That's all our time.
The 71st annual Shrimpery kicked off Friday night with incredible dishes, vendors, and entertainment.
Now, Jeff Dubron with your Chris 6 Sports Report.
I'm 66. I've been going since I was 5. Carnival, arts and crafts, lots of good bands.
Tuesday. For now, they're trying to take care of business and
it's a great place to come. You couldn't find shrimp made so many different ways.
Got everything from shrimp gumbo, you don't see it there, filled up late. Brian Abreu, man, he was solid throughout this first inning. Rodrigo Orozco strikes out, and then Eduardo
fundraiser. It brings in a lot of money and a lot of people for the community.
On the other side, Ronald Bolanos making his Double-A debut makes Abraham Toro look
we get
silly.
people from all over the state to come here.
Seth Beer, he is on fire.
And people from all over the city volunteer.
There's a sense of community. We're still recovering after the big storm. This is where everybody socializes.
His offense would find its rhythm in the top of the third inning.
It's a little hot, but right now it's cooling off.
Kind of get away from everyday hustle and running around all the time. You kind of come out here and let go, listen to good music, enjoy drinks, just have a good time.
And that just starts an outpouring of runs.
The Shrimpery continues Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight and Sunday from noon to 6 p.m. For now, in Ramses Pass, Michelle Pedraza, 3
At Whataburger Field, fireworks going off, every Friday night.
There's a warning tonight for homeowners who may be trying to find a way to lower their electric bills this summer. Some energy companies are using door-to-door salespeople who may be putting out a lot of promises. But word from the Better Business Bureau tonight is that the buyers should definitely beware. Our Marissa Cummings says
people like Pete Leal know what it's like to answer the door and be told by a salesperson, you just can't get anywhere else. But Leal says most times he says no thanks, and others,
I'm not interested, I'll tell them.
Midwest's County
If
District
they
Attorney's Office
insist,
confirmed to us that the charges
I
against
said,
Trevino
hey,
were
my
dropped, but
neighbor
did not tell us
is
exactly why
interested
that
in
happened.
And
In
while
the end,
most
it means
salespeople
for now
mean
that
well,
no
there's a
one has
slight
been brought to
possibility that
justice for
some
this
could be
tragic crime.
scammers.
Today was supposed to be the day Christina Trevino found out her punishment for her role in the shooting death of Alex Flores.
Jason Meza is with the Better Business Bureau. He says if someone approaches your doorstep with a deal, press the pause button and ask to see their business license.
David Davila, the alleged shooter, efforts were unsuccessful. The first in his trial declared in October of last year after the jury could not find him
And to help maintain your security, never let the salesperson in your home. Reliant uses better door-to-door sales agents and says staying at the doorstep is their protocol. Both the Better Business Bureau and Reliant say if you do not feel comfortable, do not go through the transaction. Call the company directly and do your research. Marissa Cummings, 3 News.
Deep in my heart, I know that he will.
Corpus Christi Fire Department was out this morning training on new rescue boats, all to make sure that they are ready in the case of an emergency. This was the scene this morning out at the Corpus Christi Marina as fire officials tested out their 6 new boats. These vessels will be used for rescues in the event of major flooding. Some other items now, a local foreign exchange student program here at the Coastal Bend is looking for their next batch of host families for incoming students, and they're hoping it might be you. The ERDT Share High School Foreign Exchange Program, endorsed by the United Way, is a nonprofit organization aimed at connecting students of different cultures with families here. Students from 30 different countries sign up for the program to either spend a semester or maybe an entire school year abroad. And coordinators say they are in need of host families.
And looking for
a lot of them are very bright and very interested in learning about our American culture. They get so excited to go and see everything, the livestock show, you know, that's all brand new to them, the rodeos.
And coordinators say each student is carefully screened and has already arranged to pay his or her own expenses while they do.
In 1977, and if you were like
Corpus Christi business is now left having to pay thousands of dollars to replace a company truck that was stolen this morning and then crashed as it was being chased by DPS troopers. It all started this morning near Leopard Street and NPID when thieves took off with the truck. Our Michelle Pedraza joins us tonight live from the scene of that crash. And Michelle, I understand 2 suspects are now in custody.
Excessive heat warning. So definitely take precautions, slow
Joe.
down, dress
a
for
young
summer,
man and woman are both in custody. Neighbors in this area tell me that soon after that crash, a 17-year-old girl was found hiding down this alley.
There was a lonely little thunder shower out in
the Rio Grande Valley. The whole ordeal was a nightmare for the Bating family.
I had a bunch of notifications on my Facebook.
Surveillance videos of the crime were posted on a Facebook neighborhood group where men and women were seen ransacking vehicles throughout the area overnight.
Sure enough, I see them and they come over to Nathan's truck. The male actually gets in the vehicle, looks around for a minute. Shortly after that, starts the vehicle and leaves with it. When I came outside, and sure enough, the vehicle was gone.
The white truck, a company-owned vehicle with high-tech GPS, allowed the couple to track it as the suspects took it for a joyride.
Turned into an Executive Inn hotel down there, and they pulled all the way around the back and parked in the grass.
After 911 was called, an officer tried to approach the suspects, but they quickly took off.
Flew by us, a mattress flew out of the back. They headed down Highway 44, and at one point they were going like 106 miles an hour, no seatbelts on.
When I got behind him and I lit him up, put the lights on him, he evaded from me, made a turnaround on Clarkwood.
When the driver reached Highway 358, the truck had a blowout. It then crashed into another truck stopped at a red light on Leopard and NPID before smashing into a house. That's when the man got out of the vehicle and ran, but was caught a couple blocks away.
And it's still going to be hot, but as far as humidity is concerned, it won't feel
right now, we do not know the names of the 2 suspects, but DPS says that both of them were taken to a hospital, along with the other driver that they hit, on charges include evading arrest with a motor vehicle and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. For now, live from NPID and Leopard Street, Michelle Pedraza,
are going to be expected and are in the forecast. Yeah, we're at 83 here, but notice
what we're going to be doing here this Sunday, June 9th, all about celebrating miracles. This weekend is our annual Disco Day at Whataburger Field. It's actually Sunday from 2 to 5. The celebration starts live, and we invite you to stop by, catch a great ball game between the Amarillo Sod Poodles and the Hooks, and maybe join the effort to raise money for Driscoll. Why not? It's going to make you feel great, but really we're just there to celebrate all miracles that take place. You're certainly familiar with that over years. This will be the
78 in the morning, warm and humid, heating up already by noontime. East southeasterly winds at 9 miles an hour, 99 by 5 o'clock. With heat indices around.
We're going to begin tonight with continuing coverage of last night's storms that really caused a lot of damage and knocked out power to nearly 10,000 people in all in the city of Kingsville. That city has now issued a disaster declaration because of all the damage. And some residents are still without power this evening. In fact, folks at AEP tell us it could be another full day before the power is restored. With the heat index in the triple digits now, as you can imagine, this has been a rough day in Kingsville. Lindart is there live tonight as city officials work to get things back to normal, and it is our top story.
It's still hot, but not quite. Use caution for the
Yes, Joe, so here's a look at what AEP is working on. There's a really bad down power line behind me, and of course much of the city still without power, and it could be another 24 hours, unfortunately, until about 95% is restored, and that means no AC, and with this sweltering heat, a lot of people had a bad day.
We actually found folks
as the National Weather Service surveys the damage, John Metz says they can tell a lot just by looking around.
Straight line winds have a pattern that's more of a divergent pattern. Everything generally lays in one direction. Tornadoes are more concentrated. There's a lot more convergent type damage path. Debris is thrown in multiple directions.
Metz says winds reached over 85 miles per hour, and his preliminary findings show that the storm was a strong downburst of winds. The wind was so strong, it left most of Kingsville in the dark.
We went through a lot. We had 4 grandkids, 2 families, and us. in our house, and it was super hot.
Every day, one of the many people who were struck by yet another devastating blow. Sweltering heat and no power.
We didn't know whether to stay outside or inside. It was really bad. It's been a rough day. And no wind.
Luckily, Benavidez' power was restored by the morning, so he started to clean up his yard. And others like Ruby Perez and Dariela Cortez were not so lucky.
Man, it's hard. Our food has gotten rotten. We haven't had light since 8 o'clock.
I'm concerned about the kids right now. Everybody's just suffering right now, and it's really hot. It's better to be outside than inside and get some fresh air.
City officials calling attention to this urgent situation during a press conference.
We do want to ask anyone with elderly friends or family, make sure you're checking on them, make sure they're staying cool, and also as you are cleaning up that debris, make sure to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, and try and get into well-ventilated areas.
These moms' concerns remain on their children. Ruby and Dariela say they plan on leaving home in search of somewhere to cool down.
I mean, these little kids are sweating and hot.
So we're just like hoping and praying that everything will go smoothly as planned.
New faces are looking to make a name for themselves at double-A level.
And right now, Kingsville Police Department just announced that they're actually taking any sort of donation to distribute out to those who have been severely affected by this outage. And there's also a senior center, cooling center rather, for people who don't have AC to stay overnight. There's also a list of resources on the Kingsville Visitor Center Facebook page. They urge you to stay updated with that page for any new releases. For now, live from Kingsville, Madeline Dart, 3 News. Joe.
So welcome to Corpus Christi.
Okay, Maddie, thank you. And if you'd like to help out the folks in Kingsville who've been really impacted by the weather, the city will be accepting things like blankets, toiletries, personal hygiene products, and even canned food. You can drop those things off at the Clayburgh County Human Services Office. That's on East Santa Gertrudis Street. There in Kingsville. All the information will be found on our website as well, KIIITV.com.
These devices can detect cars.
Now for another great year of fishing, all for a good cause. Today kicks off the 9th annual Auto Nation Saltwater Roundup. It's a one-day tournament for anglers of all ages and skill levels, and it all benefits Driscoll Children's Hospital. Kristen Diaz is out live with what we can expect this year. Kristen?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. That's right. We're out right outside the West Landing Marina. The restaurant is right next to us, and we have a great line side of the water as well. And it is a busy afternoon. I'm here with Mr. Todd Wilson, the original organizer of this tournament, and we were just talking about why this started 9 years ago.
We just wanted to do something grassroots. All Nation decided, you know, let's do something grassroots for the community. We chose Driscoll Children's Hospital. Couldn't pick a better company to support. You know, we're sending kids with cancer to camps, and so they can go and enjoy themselves.
We saw some of the kids with cancer earlier this week actually go fishing. What is it like to? What is the impact that leaves on you?
You know, it's awesome. It's awesome. Awesome feeling. It's great to be able to give back. And everybody in Corpus Christi knows somebody or has had somebody that's been through the Driscoll Children's Hospital. It's a great hospital.
Hey, we've got this great boat behind us, this Mayak. It's a 2019, and if you like how beautiful this baby is, it could be yours. All you have to do is purchase a raffle ticket. And Todd, we've got 4 different raffles going on today, right?
Yes, we do. Actually, you can weigh in fish in the tournament if you register, and you can also get raffle tickets
thunderstorms
for every pound of fish that you
powerful winds and hail.
We've also got a nice Hobie kayak that we're raffling off. We've got tons of items on the table over here.
We're going to I'll go ahead and walk inside here. And sorry, we've got some cord with us, but this is really where the action is. We wanted to show you the boat, of course, but we also want to show you some of the other awesome raffle items that we've got, from a kayak to even this awesome barbecue pit,
just recently signed a disaster declaration, and some of the residents that I got to speak with today told me that they could never see
great trophies over there to your right. Trophies are awesome. They can still come out and register up to 7 p.m. tonight. We extended it, so you can still come out and register. You can fish kayak division, which is pretty cool. We have kayak division also, so boat or kayak. Come sign up.
All right, you guys got it. All the way until 7 o'clock. You can still be a part of the Auto Nation Saltwater Roundup. All right, a lot of people here registering, and it is a great time. So we are looking forward to the winners.
Due to these outages, some intersections are without traffic lights, which has already already led to delays and some minor accidents.
Kristen, thanks.
Also seeing a
And
need
one
for
final
major
note here in our
cleanup
first
is
segment
Halloween
with kids out on vacation in the summer heat, reaching its highest. Families look for city pools to refresh and cool down, except Greenwood Pool. The Corpus Christi Parks and Recreation Department temporarily closed Greenwood Pool due to vandalism. During the morning inspections today, the glass was found in the pool. They're told that the pool will be closed until further notice, and it's all to ensure the safety
While
of
we've
those
been out
who
here in
use that
Kingsville
pool
today,
on the
I've been
city's west
approached
side.
and seen many families still
Inside
driving
the
around
city
their
of Corpus
cars,
Christi,
attempting
giving
to stay
residents
cool
a way
since their
to
power is still
escape
out
this
back at home.
South Texas
Back to
heat.
you, Katia.
They've
All
opened
right,
up
Allie,
several
thanks. And at
locations
this
all
time,
around
Claiborne
town where
County
people
has
can go
opened
inside,
community
cool
centers
off, get
for the
hydrated.
elderly.
Marissa
If
Cummings
those
joins
centers
us live in
become
the studio
full,
right
the
now with
county's going to
details
open the
on
FEMA
that.
Dome
Marissa?
at the Pan American School.
Well, Rudy, with the mixture of heat and humidity here in the coastal bend, standing in the shade just doesn't cut it. That's why this is the 10th year in a row that Corpus Christi has provided the Beat the Heat program. There are 3 locations around the city where people can seek refuge from the high temperatures this summer: the Greenwood Center, Senior Center, Lindale Senior Center, and Oville Williams Senior Center. The program not only offers an air-conditioned space, but also snacks and water to enjoy, and it's all sponsored by Reliant. This year, the energy company went one step further and provided dozens of small portable air conditioning units that will be raffled off throughout the summer.
If they have a room that maybe just doesn't get very cool or doesn't have air conditioning, they can have it right next to them to keep them cool when they're, doing, whether they're watching a TV program or reading or, whatever it is.
Reliant also provides their CARE program, where they assist Reliant customers who are struggling to pay their energy bill in the summer. If you want to find out more about either programs, you can head over to our website at KIITV.com. Rudy.
All right, Marissa, thanks.
We really want to
The
make
mayor
sure
now
our
making a
seniors
disaster
have a place
declaration,
to come and a
asking
place to
for help
cool
from the
off
governor.
every day
Madeline
that
Dart
the
joins us
temperatures
live
are
now with a look at how it's looking at this very moment and what the National Weather Service has to say about it. Maddie?
And for a full list of the city and county cooling centers.
Yes, Rudy. I mean, the damage is so widespread throughout Kingsville. I met up with the National Weather Service this morning, but before I get into their preliminary results, take a look at this. I mean, look how close this tree is to almost hitting a house. You can just see how these high winds just took it off his branches and almost hit this house. Now, I talked with John Metz with the National Weather Service, and he says that they did not find evidence that a tornado touched down in Kingsville. Rather, it was just very, very high winds called a downburst, and he said that they only have to drive around to really look at that. And so just look at all these trees, and this is much of the scene throughout Kingsville. You can see another tree right there. It looked like it was just whipped around, and experts are saying that the storm originated near the north end of town, and it just blew straight through. And here's another look. People have been setting out their brush on the side, trying to get it out of their yard, but here's the catch. It is hot, and so city officials are warning people who are cleaning up that brush to take breaks, cool down, drink some water, take a break, and don't stay out in the sun too long. And they're still working to restore power to the rest of the town, and it could be 24 hours until it's fully returned. Now, there are some cooling centers set up, as well as brush removal centers, and we have all of those details on KIITV.com. Stay safe out there. For now, live from Kingsville, Madeline Dart, 3 News. Rudy?
Maddie, thanks for that.
But have no fear. For
Kingsville continue to deal with the damage after high winds and heavy downpours tore through the area late last night. Stephen Cavasso shows us why some are now saying this weather event is getting them prepared for the possible storms ahead.
Make an announcement once
down power lines, scattered tree limbs are what residents are waking up to here in Kingsville following Thursday night storms. But the challenges are far from over.
Low prices.
It was so strong, I got scared. I thought I'm in the middle of a tornado. I shut the door and I didn't know where to get in the bathroom and crawled in the
a scary end to the day for Valentin Martinez after Thursday's storm ripped through Kingsville, creating damage in almost every corner.
Lots of downed trees, lots of debris everywhere, quite a bit of just chaos.
AEP crews stayed in the area during the early hours Friday as thousands of residents remained in the dark, dealing with the heat, some dreading what they would wake up to.
And pushing off near the Raymondville area. That goes until 6 o'clock, so if you are going to be traveling down there, maybe want to check the radar off and about. It has a little
little bit of hail
Try to get as
associated
much
with
as
it
possible.
as well.
Joey Barra
Back
showed
here
us
at
how the
home,
strong
it
winds
was all
tore
about
through
the
his
heat today. It's
garage.
gonna
He
be
warns
all
others
about
to
the
be
heat
aware
tomorrow
of how
on
a calm
Sunday, and
day
we'll get a little bit
can
of
quickly
relief
turn dangerous
as we
this
go
time
into
of
early
year.
next
Listen
week.
to
The
the
heat
warnings that
advisory
are
is in
coming.
effect for the
Get
entire
prepared
coastal bend,
for
minus our northern
evacuate
counties.
if we have to.
Don't fool
Ramiro and
yourselves
Carmen
because it's still
Utley
hot
have
up there
weathered
as
several
well.
storms in
We're
their
at
lifetime,
101
but still
degrees
face
right now. I'm
challenges
not
when
sure
it
when
comes
the
to
last time
cleaning
we
up
reached
the aftermath.
101 degrees. I'm going to have to go and research that, but nonetheless, it's hot. 105 up in Orange Grove, Asturias, Hermanville, you included. Our water temperature out at the Patrick Channel has
But the couple knows what it means to be ready.
It feels like 113 here, 120 out of Pedro Air Station, Flower Bluff, 115 in Alice.
And with hurricane season in full swing, they take this weather event as a lesson to be learned.
As well. Evening forecast for tonight will maintain mainly clear skies, as it's still going to be fairly warm by the 10 o'clock time
Stephen
frame. It's in the middle
Cavazos, 3
80s
News.
as we struggle to get into the middle to upper 70s.
We now know the identity of a
Early in the
woman
morning.
behind an overnight
Upper
shooting
70s
in
to lower
Corpus
80s
Christi.
near the coastline,
27-year-old
about 75
Katressa
to
Evans was
76
arrested
from
this
the
morning
rest
after
of
an
the,
argument
the
with
coastal
several
bend.
people turned
Again, right now we
violent.
have mainly clear
CCPD
skies.
responded
Again,
to a
minus that
disturbance
one
call at the
lone
corner of
little thundershower
McDaniel
up in the
Avenue
Rio
and David
Grande
Street
Valley as high
around
pressure
2:30
is
this
taking
morning.
over the
Police
region.
say the scene
We got a little
moved to
frontal
the
boundary.
south
This is
side
gonna
of
be
town
meandering
at an
back and
apartment
forth
on
over the next
Nile
couple
near
of days, and
Williams
it's gonna wait
Drive.
for high
Authorities
pressure
tell
up
us
to the
Evans
north
pulled out a gun
to
and fired
reinforce
several
that, and
bullets
that's what we're gonna
into
be
the
looking
air.
for
A
here. High
homeowner
pressure
on
behind this
McDaniel
system.
returned fire
It is a
and
frontal
hit
boundary, a
Evans
cold
in the
front.
arm. She was checked out and then taken into
Extremely weak in
custody.
nature.
Charges in that case
year,
are still
it is
pending.
be. It's not going to do much to cool us off.
An
What it
arrest
will
has been
do is
made
bring
in the
some
fatal
drier air
Robstown
into the
accident that
coastal
claimed
bend.
6
There's the
lives
upper
and hurt
levels of
several
the
others.
atmosphere right now,
23-year-old
and this
Ivan
high pressure
Puga
dome is
Moreno
gonna be
was
moving
arrested
right on
yesterday
top
by
of us as
authorities
we
in
go into
Houston.
the
It was on
weekend
Wednesday.
forecast.
Corpus
And of course,
Christi
every time
authorities
we
found a
have high
wrecked
pressure
SUV
sitting
in
on
a
top
ditch
of
in
us, that
Robstown.
means we
6
have
people
sinking air.
killed,
We have
several others
subsidence
taken
going
to the
on in the
hospital.
atmosphere, so
According
that
to
puts
authorities,
pressure
Puga Moreno
towards
was
here
the
on the
driver
surface,
of
and
the
that's why we
SUV.
get
He
those
was
hot
attempting to
temperatures to
smuggle
go with it.
18
And you can see us here,
undocumented immigrants
101, again,
from
one of the
South
hotter
Texas to
temperatures
Houston.
across
The
the
charges
entire
state
United States, but
Puga
it's warm
Moreno
all the
was
way up
smuggling
into
the
the northern
immigrants
plains,
with the help of
right
a
behind
brush
that one
guy
frontal
from his
boundary.
hometown
That
in
won't
Mexico.
cool us down
He
a whole
ran
lot.
away after
They're
the
getting a
crash.
little bit of some
He is
cooler
now
air up in
expected
the
to make
Pacific
an initial
Northwest, where
appearance Monday
temperatures are
before a
currently
magistrate in
into the
Houston.
50s.
If
But
convicted,
let's look at it
he
as
could
far as the
possibly
surface
face
temperatures are
the death
concerned. This
penalty.
is tomorrow afternoon. Look at all those bright pink colors
Tonight,
once
with
again.
shocking
That means
news
hot
as
temperatures
we
and
learn
the
the
high
charges
pressure
have
will
been
come a
dropped
little bit
against a
farther
woman
into our
believed
area
to be
on Sunday.
the
So I
getaway
think we'll
driver
achieve
in a
triple
nearly
digits once
4-year-old
again,
murder
and
case.
each day we're
Those
gonna be
details are
challenging
in
the
tonight's
record
top
highs.
story.
And then watch what
First
happens
Assistant
going into
District Attorney
Monday.
Matt
That
Manning has
the
confirmed to
storm
3
system
News
off
that
the
charges
southeast
against
is gonna dig
26-year-old
just a little bit.
Cristina
There's a
Treviño,
reinforcing one
the
that's
woman
gonna come right
accused of
behind
driving
us.
the
So it's gonna
getaway
push
car in the
the
fatal
main
shooting of
energy of
13-year-old
that hot
Alex
air
Torres
back off to the
have been
west just a little
dropped.
bit. It's still gonna be
Torres
hot
was
here,
shot
no
and
doubt
killed
about it,
back in
but it's not gonna
2015
feel quite
after
as hot
answering the door at his
because of the
grandparents'
air.
Flower
And
Bluff
again, here
home.
comes that
It was
reinforcing
just
low
over a
pressure.
week ago.
As we
Charges
go
were
into
dropped
early
against
next week.
29-year-old
Tomorrow,
David
93
Davila,
already
who
heating
was
up at
accused
noon.
of shooting the
99
teen.
by
A
5
petition
o'clock.
for
Even to see
dismissal
around
of
109.
Trevino's charges was filed this morning and
117,
approved.
here,
There's still no
ranging to
word yet on
100 to
when Trevino will be
106
released
for our
from
inland
jail.
communities. If you are going to be heading out to Padre,
Direction to Success, presented by Coastal Compass Education and Career Resource Center.
Hey there, everyone. All right, so high schoolers have a fighting chance in today's workforce through the Education to Employment Partners. We have Mr. Jeff West, coordinator of this program, joining us with the Emerging Professionals Internship Program in this week's Direction to Success. Hello to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, and so we are also looking for specifically high schoolers in this internship program, which usually you hear the word internship and you think maybe this is for college students only.
This is a unique program. It's an opportunity for high school seniors to work in internships that are in demand occupations connections that lead to high-paying jobs during their senior year of high school. It's a very unique program. It's an exciting program. Really excited to be here talking about it this morning.
Awesome. All right, so this is a call to action to employers. And what is the benefit for these employers to hire younger staff for an internship program?
You know, there's a lot of benefits to this program. I'd like to, like you said, call to action our employers and the community, because the benefits of this program are tremendous. Number one, you're going to get a chance to partner with us and partner with the community to develop our workforce in the future. Number two, you're going to get low-cost, low-risk labor. These are kids that are excelling in their school, they're motivated, they're excited, and they're ready to go. And number three, you know, you're going to get an opportunity to create a pipeline into your organization for future employees and future members of your organization. So really excited.
Yeah, an immediate workforce there here in the Coastal Bend, especially with just so many industries booming here in
in the area. We need people to be trained and ready to work. So wonderful. All right, if you have any questions or would like to get more information on this program, take a look at the information on your screen. Don't forget you can reach out to the Coastal Compass. They're at
working to process her matter, and that she could be released from jail.
All right, Juneteenth for the Crest is set to be a multicultural celebration of the end of slavery here in Texas. We have Ms. Tina Butler, who's president of TAPFI Corpus Christi, joining us this morning at this event. And please introduce your organization, TAPFI, to everyone.
Okay.
Because it's a pretty long acronym.
Yeah, I know. Everyone like, what is that? TAPFI, which is TABPHE, stands for Texas Association of Black Personnel in Higher Education. We are the Corpus Christi chapter. Originally we were the Del Mar chapter, but we started getting members from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, CCISD, retirees, so we changed to Corpus Christi chapter. And as you said, it is a multicultural event. It is free. It will be on Saturday, June 15th, from 4 to 10 p.m. We originally announced 4 to 9, but we had so many entertainers that want to be a part of the program. We extended it an extra hour.
Hey, it's a party.
It is. And so this year we're doing something new. We are having a march, which begins at 3 o'clock. And what that is a reenactment of General Gordon Granger bringing the news to Texas about the Emancipation Proclamation. So we will be marching from the First United Methodist Church, where additional parking will be available right across from Emerald Beach Hotel, up to Cove Park. And then the festival will begin at 4.
Coming up tonight on Dateline, reiterate our history here in Texas, right?
Exactly. Many of the youth, they've heard Juneteenth, but they don't really know what it's about. So we are going to be reenacting what Juneteenth is.
Tonight on Dateline, a new look at a story we did a couple of years ago. Two young women shot and left for dead.
Be not only a part of the celebration, but a part of the march.
Well, I think once they get involved and begin to know the history and why we hold this event, then they may become more involved in other leadership roles or things in the community. Our picture this year on our poster, which we have here, are members, pastors from the past who advocated for the black community. Dr. H.J. Williams is the person that the Hillcrest Park is named after. He was one of the doctors on the north side back in the day. Reverend Howard T. Branch, Reverend Elliott T. Branch, and then Dr. H.J. Williams. Dilworth, H.D. Dilworth was one of the pastors, and all of these served on city council, school board, and so forth to advocate for the black community.
Ms. Butler, thank you so much for coming in and enlightening us about this event. Please take a look at this on our website later this morning, KIIITV.com, where you can get all the information about the celebration happening in Corpus Christi.
Welcome back. I'm here with Cheryl Livingston and David Mura, both with the
Hi, good morning, everyone. We got a little puppy dog here now.
They're pretty excited.
I think every little dog, Ernie, is a puppy dog. But this is not so much a puppy. Yeah.
Thank you. Guy Clark had some ties to this area, right?
Absolutely. He still has family, classmates, friends in Rockport, many fans all across the United States and Europe.
For the rest of his days,
he still has the show.
Probably 6 or 7 years
Thompson and Sean Camp.
And he does because we vaccinate him every year, because we maintain him on heartworm prevention, right? And we had to treat him for heartworms when he got here. But you can prevent that by buying medication, and the clinic here is open 9 to 1, Monday through Friday. Vaccinations are only $10. So please come learn about everything you need to do to keep your little pet safe. This is parvo season, this is mosquito season, this is flea and tick season, and we have everything to stop all that from complicating your little pet's life. You got it. Take a look at the information on your screen. Please get in contact with Pee-wee's Pet Adoption and ask about their Madison's Clinic today.
And then Boats to Build is another song that's really identified with the Rockport area.
In fact, we've got some pictures I want to see if our
we're changing our perspectives this morning. This is CPR and AED week, and it's a chance to remind ourselves how we can save a life. Hence, we're standing because we want to be able to show you. Little Ann, I have Renee Garcia joining us here. Sir, thank you for coming in. This is your career. This is your life. You know all about this. What's the most important thing people need to know when it comes to CPR?
In 2009, the American Heart Association created the hands-only CPR because most people don't want to do CPR because they're afraid afraid to put their mouth on somebody. So in 2019, they incorporated the hands-only CPR. So basically 2 steps, so anybody can learn CPR.
Okay, let's get right into the demonstration. I know the theme is this heart's not going to start itself. So how do we start the heart?
Right, so don't be afraid to help and save a life. So the first thing you have to do is, if you see somebody that's unresponsive, call 911, put your phone on speaker, then find that center of the chest, put your hand there, and then push hard and push fast.
What am I looking for? Do I want to push how hard? I don't want to hurt the person. I'm afraid I might if I push.
At 7 p.m. Well, here the AHA stage, you want to push at least 2 to 2.5 inches. So pushing hard, going down there. And then at the rate, you want to stay at 100 to 120. So the Bee Gees, Staying Alive.
Let's do it. Staying Alive.
Going through there.
So it's a good rate. You're going through and you're singing the song, ha, 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 Staying Alive. It's just going like that, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
If it helps you remember, I mean, it might sound silly, but if it's helping save a life. Is there anything we need to do, arching the head or anything?
No, just the body's the way it is. I mean, we're just going to get on there, and then you're going to continue this until the emergency services show up.
The American Heart Association, I know they offer classes throughout the year. If I want to learn more about this, what kind of resources do I have?
If you want to do the hands-only CPR, you could look at www.heart.org/CPR only.
Well, good
noon
time, everybody.
Certainly last night was a busy, interesting evening.
Find a short burst thunderstorms and all kinds of problems, but once it all began to decrease after the sundown, the sun went down.
We really appreciate you coming in and all the services that you provided, helping people all around South Texas, saving lives. We are going to have that on our website at KTRITV.com, and I think Annie, she survived?
It's 89 degrees already.
She survived, but with no arms or legs. Hey, look, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Okay. Severe weather is affecting hundreds. We're going to show you how bad the damage is in.
Fewer and fewer clouds.
Not too many clouds behind you like it was yesterday. We saw those cumulus clouds coming in.
My goodness. Will be 80s and 90s.
Finished on a bang yesterday. Late afternoon, early evening, the strong to severe thunderstorms. Now we're into the calm after the storm here, proverbially so, and it's going to be hot. That's going to be the thing to know heading into the weekend as we're cleaning up damage out in Kingsville. The heat today is going to be just as dangerous as the active weather we had last night, especially considering a lot of people out there do not have power because of those strong to severe thunderstorms. 76 right now, winds are calm. Got a shrimp boat, looks like, coming back into port there, but 76 degrees. There are some clouds out at the airport. That may be some fog that the sensor is getting in on, and there is some areas of patchy fog. Got rain last night, winds are calm. There's a lot of humidity here. The ground is a little bit moist, so we're seeing some of that develop here early this morning. Nothing dense, though. You see the winds calm and variable. No one really over 5 or 6 miles per hour, and much quieter on the satellite and radar imagery. We will have a quieter day of weather today. It's going to be the heat-related advisories that are problematic for us, not only today, but into the weekend as well. This system that created the strong to severe thunderstorms here yesterday will kick off into the eastern half of the country and be a problem over there for the entire weekend. Meantime, high pressure will be coming in and building over Texas here in South Texas, specifically Saturday and Sunday. You see all the rain associated with that disturbance over in the southeast, but our weekend here is going to be oppressively hot outside. Temperature's going to flirt with 100 both Saturday and Sunday. Here's the next feature to kind of settle things down a little bit. It's a cold front technically. We're going to get a wind shift with north winds in place here on Monday, but don't get that excited. Yes, it's a front, but temperatures will simply go from record-breaking down to near seasonal normal. It'll be about a 10-degree drop, like 100 down to 90 between Sunday and Tuesday, but it's not going to be cold by any means here. Just a little bit of relief from the oppressive heat coming in on Monday. Mid to upper 70s here this morning. Will be in the mid-90s by lunchtime and soar into the triple digits inland, close to that in town this afternoon. It'll stay in the mid-80s by 10 o'clock this evening. A heat advisory goes into effect at noon today, meaning that the heat index, how it feels outside, will get up between 110 and 115 and maybe even higher than that, down 77 as you're heading toward the valley in Kennedy County. So very hot outside, and it's record-breaking heat we're talking about. Air temperatures each day, we've already had 2 in a row. For the next 3, looks like we're going to set new records, and these are long-standing records. 1955, the old record Saturday, 1948, the old record here on Sunday. It looks like we're going to eclipse those into the weekend. Baking hot today, 99 with a heat index of 112 this afternoon. Another thing, the winds aren't going to be all that strong, so it may even feel hotter. Typically, we have that good southeast wind. We're not going to have that today. Mainly clear tonight, mid-70s and a calm southeasterly breeze. Hot. 99 through Sunday. There's that weak front. No, it won't be cold, but some of the edge will get taken off that heat down to 90 here come Tuesday.
And on top of that, all the construction and
Toloso Midway ISD and longtime Warriors boys basketball coach Bobby Craig have agreed to part ways. Craig has been the head coach for the boys team at TM since 1982. That's 37 years if you're doing math at home. The story, which was first reported by the Caller-Times, says that Toloso Midway ISD Board of Trustees voted 7-0 to not renew Craig's contract during a special meeting on May 29th. May 29th's hearing was held after Craig withdrew a request for a hearing after the board voted to consider his non-renewal during the district's regular board meeting on April 22nd. It was also reported that Craig was placed on paid administrative leave on February 21st, stemming from allegations of an incident at the school, which led to April 22nd's voting to consider his non-renewal. Craig said he will retire from the district but will continue coaching. Quite the legacy he will be leaving behind on the court at TM, winning nearly 800 games in his tenure.
Taxes remain untested. Some of them have been sitting on the shelves for years now.
Thanks to a new law, that backlog could soon be cleared.
The Hooks beginning a big home series against the Sod Poodles tonight. Just a half a game separates the two in the Texas League South standings. But before the game, Cal Allen softball being recognized. The Lady Cats had a historical season, which came to an end this past weekend. Cal Allen making its first ever appearance in the state tournament and state championship game. A season to remember and one worth the honor.
Governor Greg Abbott signing
kind of just still on that little high of what just happened, and it just happened all so fast, and having fun that everybody kind of recognizes us and notices, you know, what the girls did and what they accomplished, and it's really nice, special.
How cool is that? After the pregame festivities, there was a game to be played. As mentioned earlier, a big game for the Hooks, and it started out just how they would have hoped. In the second, a guy that can probably bench a car. Top eye on spinach, it's Brandon Getzman. His 13th bomb of the season puts the Hooks up 1-0. That guy's got wheelbarrow arms right there. Amarillo would tie things up, but Chas McCormick would have an answer in the 7th. Liner gets into the outfield here. In comes Ramiro Rodriguez to score. That was all the Hooks needed. Pitching gets the job done. They hold the Prairie Dogs to just one run in this one. Hooks win 3-1.
$1 million in funding. That money will be
used
to hire
now
more
to the
workers
relentless
for the state's crime
heat
labs
out there and the effort in Nueces County to make sure residents have access to air conditioning, at least during the heat of the day. The county has just opened and reopened a number of cooling centers, and Michelle Pedraza is out live tonight with the details on that. Michelle?
Is a tool that we're going to welcome. Matt Manning,
well, Joe, because of recent heat advisories, the county has opened at least 7 cooling centers around the area, including here in Annabelle. I'm at the Hilltop Community Center. So because temperatures are supposed to reach the triple digits, the county wants to keep them open starting today from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. until Sunday, June 9th. The centers allow those who can't afford air conditioning to just sit down and relax during the hottest time of the day. And transportation services are also available for those in rural communities.
I think it's real important because some people don't have air conditioners, so they need to be able to cool down. And the ones that are outside, they need a place that they can come in and feel comfortable that's open. So we're hoping that people that need it come in.
contest.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he's
so
like
here's a look at some of the other locations. They include Banquetti, Agua Dulce, and Robstown. Again, they will be open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. starting today until Sunday, June 9th. And tomorrow, the city will be opening their own cooling locations so that those in Corpus Christi will have access to them as well. Live in Annabelle, Michelle Pedraza, 3 News.
But as long as you get a nice sea breeze.
In Austin today, Governor Greg Abbott signed a series of 3 bills into law, all aimed at improving safety in our schools. Tonight, our Michelle Pedraza tells us what the new laws do and how local school districts, in many cases, are already in compliance.
It's been a years-long effort for Governor Abbott to prevent another school shooting like the Santa Fe tragedy that killed 10 people. This series of bills will help strengthen mental health services available to children.
We got precious cargo on board, so our kids are behind that wall. And so anything we can do to ensure the safety of our students, we're doing.
Chief Kirby Warnke with CCISD Police Department says most of what the bills call for are already implemented by his department, including administration having access to contact police, notifying parents when a threat is received, and securing lobbies on campuses.
Between these 2 pillars, there'll be a partition that you can't get by without being allowed in via electronic buzzer.
Thanks to the 2018 bond project, both CCISD and West Oso ISD are allowed to place them at every campus. One of the bills, SB 11, was made possible through a series of roundtable discussions, which Dr. Cece Bettis, Assistant Superintendent of West Oso ISD, took part in. She said many of the ideas suggested came from that discussion.
Well, it's just proof that the system does work. And when you have a governor that is listening to the voices of the people, and we bring suggestions, real suggestions.
Ideas like improving the way mental health issues are approached by better educating teachers and staff.
Start to recognize warning signs when we see that a student is very stressed. We notice a change in behavior. If we notice that a student is acting just completely different than they normally do.
And determining the best ways to intervene before they become violent.
Alert a counselor to maybe call in the student or have a one-on-one with the student.
The bills call for $110 million over the next 2 years for training and increasing services. Michelle Pedraza, 3 News.
The clouds up into the atmosphere.
The storms were with us. There was some isolated damage as a result of them. The Kingsville area is said to be the hardest hit. And our Taylor Audenese is there tonight to show us what she found.
Now it's pulling away.
Right now we're at a gas station in Kingsville, right off of Highway 77. You can't really tell because they lost power. We're not sure how long ago it was they lost power, but it seems to be the case. We're getting messages from different people on Facebook of them losing power here out in Kingsville. But we're out here because of all of the lightning activity that you see out here. From across the highway, it kind of looks like the lightning is kind of responding to one another. We actually just got back from Rivera where we were at the King's Inn where the power went out there, but people were still eating. They said that there was a lot of hail on the way over here. A lot of people were actually coming from the Corpus Christi area down south going to the valley, and they said there was a lot of hail and a lot of broken trees and things on the highway. But yeah, it's a little bit scary out here, so if you are on the road, guys, try to get to a safe place. For now in Kingsville, Taylor Audenese, 3 News.
Some older people may not have
all right, Taylor, thanks very much. And tell you what, a lot of folks were sending us video and pictures via Facebook tonight, and we're just going to show you some of them here from Catherine Villarreal, for example. She says we were shook in HEB, couldn't see anything with the blankets of water coming their way. Flooding was bad by HEB with no power.
Absolutely, because
this video was moving before you could actually see the doors rattling there. But Edith Rubio tells us that the power lines were down in Kingsville, just one example of that.
Good morning, Roland.
Amanda Barrera from Roy's Fireworks Stand on FM 1355 in Armstrong. Look at that, the fireworks stand is completely toppled over there.
71st annual Shrimp
From Ryan Pena, this coming into us tonight, you really get an idea of the
I'm doing good.
The wind.
Can you believe 71 years?
I'm not threatening clouds.
I'm not great at math.
And check out this.
Sure.
The Gulf Coast Humane Society is reaping the benefits from one Corpus Christi auto dealership's annual fundraiser. It's called the Subaru Share the Love event, a fundraiser held by Subaru dealerships actually across the nation. Each year, the dealership here makes a donation to 3 lucky nonprofits in their customers' names when they buy a car. And today, the Humane Society was handed a check for a portion of the donation.
We are so excited.
It means a lot more outreach, availability to do a lot of the clinics that we do. It helps pay for those vaccinations that we give at a discounted cost, so we are grateful for that.
And we hear Subaru has donated more than $140 million to charities across the nation over the last 11 years.
Right, we have 2 stages, a Whataburger stage and the HEB stage. The Groove is coming on the Whataburger stage tomorrow night, and tomorrow during the day is a big day for the Tejano bands too. We have Bitty Bitty Banda, which is a tribute to Selena tribute band, and then we have
75 years ago today, the largest amphibious assault ever was launched, paving the way for Germany's defeat in World War II. Nearly 160,000 Allied troops stormed the beaches in France. The military called it D-Day. Currently, there are only a handful of World War II survivors, certainly in this area. And our Brian Burns sat down with one of them today, who was also there at the beach at Normandy 75 years ago.
Everyone out here is a nonprofit.
In the early dawn of D-Day, June 6, 1944, the largest battle armada in history heads across 80 miles of rough and water.
Leading one of the platoons in a landing craft toward the beaches of Normandy was a young sergeant named Felix Longoria, Jr. He says bullets and shells whizzing past him and his men were very scary, but he couldn't let that stop him.
We have an outhouse race right in the middle of town at 9 a.m.
Get over that.
So it's outhouses that
take
people
all
build,
the men
and
into
someone
the
sits on the pot,
area
there's 4 people pushing it, and they run down the street.
The 98-year-old Longoria joined the service in 1939 and didn't leave until after the war was over. During that long trip to the beach, Longoria had a very practical attitude.
You had to lead them, and there was nobody
so much. Really
to help
appreciate
you
your
do
time.
it.
Of course, it all starts today,
And
6
if people
o'clock,
start falling off, that's all you can do too much about it.
Longoria was wounded multiple times, but after his first Purple Heart, he refused the award. That was because of the effect the first award and the communication to his family had, only that he had been wounded. His wife fainted on reading the telegram and badly injured herself in a fall. Longoria says one of the toughest battles happened after he left the beach and moved further into France.
We did that on what they call the forest.
Shrimpery here in Aranda's Pass.
They belong
And
to
joining
the
us early
French.
this morning is Rosemary Vega with the
And there
Aranda's
was,
Pass Chamber of Commerce. How are you doing this morning?
Germans were coming from all over the
Appreciate
place.
you hanging out with us. You
And
know,
then
you
nothing
believe
we
this,
could
this
do about
event
it.
started back in
The fight.
1948.
One of the
It's
last
known as
members
one of
of the
largest
greatest generation,
shrimp festivals in the
remembering
state
his
of
experience
Texas.
on
A
the
lot of
anniversary
pressure
of
for you guys to
D-Day.
uphold this
And we
tradition.
thank you, Felix,
Yes,
for
it
your
is.
service.
It's a lot of work, but it's
Brian
well worth
Burns,
it.
3
For
News.
someone who's never been to this event, what can they expect?
Think about 350 men per day, World War II veterans,
Well,
are
this year we have
dying
the
in
Lumberjack
a
show, so
single
that's a
year.
brand new thing
So
for
that's
us.
how
We're
many
really
we are
excited.
losing.
It shows during the day. There has some
So
different times
thankful.
on it. They can go
So
to our
thankful.
Facebook or our website
So
and look at the
thankful.
times for the shows. And the
There's
culinary
been
stage
a
is back, and
snag
you can
in
demo
their
all
plans
the
to
best
remove a
cooking
barge
that's
that
there.
has been
It's
tied
great.
up for
Sit
weeks
down and
along
watch the
Ocean
show and then
Drive. The
sample it
Texas
out.
General Land Office
best part
saying
is so much
it is
shrimp.
taking
Any
longer
way
to
you
remove the vessel
imagine
than
your
they first
shrimp
thought. The
cooked or
barge was
not cooked,
donated to a
you
local
can have it
charity
that
to be used
way.
for a
Am I right?
fireworks display last month, but that charity event wound up being canceled. A quick check today showed the barge was still there, along with a sunken tugboat alongside. A response team from the land office visited the site to remove oil and fuel from the tug and 2 sunken jet skis as well. They told us a marine company will be sending another barge to help remove the debris. Now, Mayor Joe McComb says he is asking the city's Parks and Rec Department to look into how they might be able to speed up the process.
That's the Journey Tribute Band going on the Whataburger stage.
Today, the Corpus Christi Fire Department welcomed a brand new fire engine. It's Station 13 on Ayers. It was built, that station was, with voter-approved bonds, but has always kind of come up short in terms of equipment and personnel until today. The chief of the city's fire department was on hand to welcome the station's newest fire truck. Our Taylor Alanese has the details for us. Taylor.
Joe, fire officials say this new fire engine has been a long time coming, especially in a city that's grown by more than 42,000 people in the last 20 years. Back in November November 2017, CCFD had to pull 12 firefighters from Fire Station 1 to fill a newly built fire station number 18 on the south side, even though they were promised the city couldn't afford to hire new firefighters to fill the new station. But today's unveiling was put them one step closer to improving their service to their community. Fire Chief Robert Rocha says it's an exciting day for the fire department, the city, and residents.
Large tank on it. It pumps up to 2,000 gallons per minute, but it's a brand new fire truck with the latest equipment.
Chief Rocha says it has side row protection, airbags, and it's ultimately a safer engine for firefighters. Rocha says the public is welcome to tour the station at any time they want to come by. He also says it relieves stress on some of the other stations when it comes to the number of calls they make. They can ultimately do more with another engine added to CCFD's fleet. Chief Rocha says the first hurdle was getting the station approved, then building it on time and under budget, and the next step is the equipment. He says the final step is, of course, new personnel.
The club scene in South Texas has been growing a lot over the last 5 to 10 years. Up to the latest on that horrible accident in Robstown. As we've reported, a total of 6 people were killed, all men and all believed to be undocumented immigrants, and we're told at least 5 others remain in the hospital tonight. Our Madeline Dark has the update for us, including word that the city of Robstown has brought in grief counselors for their first responders. It is once again our top story.
Now that was such a horrible scene, and the Robstown City Department says that their first responders are going through grief counseling. And here's what one psychiatrist has to say about seeing that horrible trauma.
It's a harsh sight for the people who are first on the scene. Psychiatric nurse Jessica Wilson says even our heroes are affected by trauma.
It can affect everybody a different way.
And we have a developing story in the weather, of course, the heat being one of them, and we have
Wilson says it can take nearly 90 days for the average person to process trauma. But for people like first responders who don't have time to react, the effects can lead to PTSD.
Nightmares, intrusive thoughts, having flashbacks of what happened, avoiding things.
And making on its way to Goliad County for the city of Goliad, but again, it expires at 6:30. We are getting a little bit some indication, radar indication of quarter-size hail being associated with this particular storm.
Not even a year after a shooting that killed 5 people in their town. Wilson says it helps to have grief counselors available as soon as possible, because even our heroes need time to grieve.
They're there for everybody to take care of us all, and they don't want to be maybe weak or feel like they're not handling it well. But seeking help doesn't mean you're not handling it. Just, it's a little push. It's just a little hug along the way, and everybody deserves one.
As this investigation continues, there are some details we are working to gather, and that's the identities of these individuals, if they have family here in Texas, and where they were headed. Of course, stay with 3 News for all the latest details on this case.
And they will open from today and run through Sunday. They're open for anyone who wants to get out of
All right, and there are new details out of Mathis tonight. The police chief there saying an arrest has been made in the death of an elderly man whose body was found behind a vacant building. Detectives say 53-year-old Gloria Trevino has now confessed to the murder this afternoon, saying she killed 82-year-old Raimundo Gonzalez during a robbery. Gonzalez's body was found Monday afternoon behind a vacant building on North B Street. Investigators say Trevino now faces capital murder charges.
This is Chris.
There is no excuse for you to drive intoxicated during the Pride events this week. Apollo Towing offering its No Excuses Ride and Tow program to offer free rides to those who had a little too much to drink at the Pride events this week. Drivers in need of a ride today after the pub crawl and on Saturday following the block party can get picked up free of charge and have their cars towed home. It's only available for those folks who live in Corpus Christi or Robstown. If you need a ride, make sure to call 361-853-0003. Back here at home to that chow down for charity as the media, Corpus Christi Fire Department and the Corpus Christi Police Department competed to be #1 at the 6th annual rib eating contest, all to benefit Special Olympics of South Texas. Taylor Alanis represented Channel 3 for the 2nd year in a row, is that correct? She joins us live now from the Texas Roadhouse with that story. Taylor?
Rudy, those ribs were so delicious. All I ate was a peach this morning, but then if you've been to a Texas Roadhouse, you know they have peanuts on the table, so it was hard to not sneak a few peanuts, but of course I did prepare to eat those ribs as fast as I could, but of course, gracefully.
Their information is used.
It is on. Corpus Christi fire versus police versus media.
We have a lot of fun doing it.
Who was going to take home the win? Ripping up some ribs for Special Olympics South Texas. Boy, these guys can eat fast.
So we get a meal, call comes in, we got to leave it. If we don't eat fast, we may not get to eat.
Me, a little slower, and as expected,
Tourism is a huge part of the Port A
CCFD
says 90% of restaurants and retailers have been open, but will summer tourists have a place to stay?
Skipped out on lunch, came here nice and hungry, prepared, so
it was the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
But police really had it this year.
18 cottages.
They won.
Before the launch
lost,
date,
but it's a good cause. We had a great time.
This contest is all to promote Tip-A-Cop at Texas Roadhouse, where Special Olympians and police officers wait on tables.
They're going to love to tell you about their competitions, their games, their medals. The officers, they just have a passion for our athletes, and they'll be sharing all that in their stories.
Hoping to get a good tip. Every cent going to Special Olympics South Texas.
So I want people to come out and try to help us raise. My goal, I want to try to raise 4,000 tonight.
Life in Paradise has also rebounded. They're rebuilding.
So the Tip-A-Cop is going to be from 6 to 9 o'clock here tonight. So obviously it's for a great cause. You're going to eat your food. You're going to tip these police officers and Special Olympians, and all of that money made will go to Special Olympians in this area right here in South Texas, and they'll also be selling T-shirts here as well. So come on out. For now, live at Texas Roadhouse, Taylor Alanice, 3 News.
Ready for their 2018 summer launch. This year, they're more than ready for the 2019
but
season.
also vetoing a widely supported bill to protect domestic violence survivors. Senate Bill 1804 would require that bond information about domestic violence offenders be entered into a statewide data repository. Now, the goal of this bill was to better protect survivors of family violence and community members by letting them know about these bond conditions. But at the last minute, a nuclear waste disposal facility amendment was added to the measure by one of its sponsors in the House. Some leaders say that they were very disappointed to learn about the governor's objections, but he still has time to amend it if he wants to. Here to talk more about the need for this type of law is Francis Wilson, the executive director of the Purple Door, formerly known as the Women's Shelter here in South Texas. Now, this bill would require that victims of these suspected or would-be domestic offenders, they would know when this person was let out on bond. You've read a little bit about this bill. Tell us your thoughts on this.
It's really sad to think that it did not pass. I hope it does get signed in future. Victims really need some opportunity to safety plan, and having this bill in place would have given them some time to learn when the person's going to come out, what those conditions of bond are, and then to ensure that they have a safe place to be, whether that's still local in Corpus Christi or whether they need to move into another city, perhaps even working with their employer on maybe making some arrangements, anything they need to do to keep themselves safe.
Right now, as it stands though, Francis, is there anything out there like this that would inform a victim that her domestic abuser or his domestic abuser is out there?
Right now, it's really working with the agencies in place, whether it's the Purple Door or law enforcement. Getting plugged into services really helps, because then you're working with people who can navigate a lot of that for you. It's still really a shame though that this didn't pass, because it would have given law enforcement immediate access to those conditions of bond, and it would have really helped, if they caught a perpetrator, an alleged perpetrator, perhaps going against those conditions.
Not to mention the saving of the lives, because we, as you know, we've covered stories and we've seen this on the news where a perpetrator is placed on bond, gets out, and goes back and commits an even more horrific crime against his victim.
That's true.
You see it firsthand.
Unfortunately.
Come in here and wander
So,
all over
what can you do? What can we do as the public
so I think everyone,
to
even
get
the
this
employees,
measure
need to
passed
go through
as
some
it
kind
should
of
have
scan.
passed?
I think making those calls to the Capitol. I mean, I know the legislative session is over, but your representatives are still around. In fact, Todd Hunter was at our coalition meeting today. Make those phone calls. They really do listen. They want to know what their constituents want.
And if anyone needs help, of course, they can always reach out to your organization.
Oh, definitely. Call 361-881-8888.
Francis Wilson, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much.
Making the courthouse more secure.
And tonight we continue coverage of that terrible car crash in Robstown yesterday. Investigators confirming 6 people died and at least 7 others were taken to the hospital with injuries. They're believed to be undocumented immigrants. Now, while we don't know where the injured occupants will go after treatment, Madeline Dark spoke with an immigration attorney who shares what happens when undocumented immigrants are left to navigate a new life in the U.S.
Yeah, and Rudy, we still do not know the status of those individuals who were taken to the hospital, but what will happen to them after depends on their background and history. These immigration lawyers say it all starts with getting the right advice.
Why did you come here? My mother's sick. She has cancer. I'm coming to get a job to help her.
It's a conversation immigration attorney Heather Moretzin de Castro has on a regular basis. People coming to the U.S. to escape their homeland.
They're in a bit of a state of lawlessness, and so they don't have a government that gives them the resources or the incentives to stay.
Among those countries, El Salvador and Honduras, 2 of the places the car wreck victims are from. While officials have not confirmed why these individuals were in Texas, Heather says sometimes it's for their own safety.
They're being recruited by gangs down there or bribe money or for work because they have no job opportunities.
Heather's colleague Deborah Rodriguez says in regards to that horrible wreck, the next step surviving individuals will take depends on their background.
Certainly they're worried about whether or not they're going to be deported. They've just survived this accident. That can be very scary, and so hopefully they're getting advice as to what they can or cannot do.
Heather and Deborah say immigration is a multi-layered topic. They hope to end the common stigma that all undocumented immigrants are here to commit crimes.
Understand their situation before we make judgments. If this was your child, if you were living in a country where the cartel was targeting your child, either to be a prostitute or to run drugs, or you had trouble feeding your child, what would you do for your child?
You are the pride of our nation.
Heather and Deborah also help students and workers coming from another country or immigrants who are here legally, and of course hope people will go the legal route to become a citizen. Regardless, they're here to help.
Thank you, Maddie, for that. Meantime,
75 years ago today.
We're finally here. Do you need a place to cool off? Nueces County has a few facilities open where people can go to cool down if they can't afford to have their AC running during the days of extreme heat. County commissioners tell clearly opening these cooling centers is just the right thing to do. Here's a list of some of the locations in Nueces County. There are numerous community centers all throughout the county, and even some of the public libraries are being used as cooling locations. If you'd like a full list and the times, go to our website, KIIITV.com.
This group here,
our marine life.
News reporter Stephen Cavazos is live at the Texas State Aquarium with what World Oceans Day means. Stephen.
Weather is brought to you by Wilcox Furniture. Great furniture.
Well, John Thomas, Kristen, good morning. While we've been out here, we've definitely been enjoying the peaceful environment the Texas State Aquarium offers. Many of the patrons that come through here, but a really great thing is World Oceans Day is this Saturday, and there's many ways that you can be a part of it. Here with me are some other organizers and educators here at the Texas State Aquarium. Now, Melanie, for those that are not aware of what World Oceans Day is, tell us what that is.
Well, every year on June 8th, people all over the world celebrate World Oceans Day in all kinds of different ways. It's a day to celebrate the beauty of the ocean, but it's also a day to remind everyone how we can protect it.
You know, one of the great things is that here in Corpus Christi, we're a coastal environment. We know the need to preserve our marine life is so important. Here with me, Allison, tell me a little bit about what you guys will be doing for families that come on out.
We have a lot of activities planned for the day. We have some tabling in the lobby where we'll have actually scientists from TAM-UCC who will be bringing their research, where they'll actually be showing us plastics that they found in the bodies of the animals that they're researching. We have some fun stuff
too. We have some games that will be playing. We'll have some recycling cornhole for families to play with, tic-tac-toe-shin, and then we have an opportunity to upcycle T-shirts into reusable bags that you can use as an alternate to the single-use plastics that are out there.
So it's not really just the education. You're getting a hands-on education from experts right here in our area, and of course, it's all about preserving the marine life here in our area and learning a little bit more about it under the sea. That sounded pretty good too. But we'll have more coming up on First Edition, how you can be a part of World Oceans Day right here in the Coastal Bend. Back to you.
All right, you got it, Stephen. Thank you.
And out near LaGrange as well.
Going back to the Legos conversation, we had just a blast here for Edition yesterday, and we wanted to share with you this time-lapse video of the creation from our master builders.
Take a look at this right now. We'll get to this time-lapse in a second. It's supposed to pop up. Legoland San Antonio, there you go. Yeah, it's officially open. One of the master builders stopped by for a visit, but some cool things for us to share. See here, they made a 3 News logo over there on the left, and a little beach scene right in front of this house. I love how you see us moving in and out from interviews, photos, closing out the show, surfers. It looks great.
I love it. This is just an HRR model. This is a high-resolution model, I should say.
Next Friday, June 14th, there's World Blood Donor Day. We're asking you to take just a small moment of your day to go out and donate. We have Ashley Ramirez with the Coastal Bend Blood Center joining us this morning to talk about the increased need. You guys are always needing blood.
Right.
There's a constant need, but even more pertinent for our time right now, we've been seeing an increase in tragedies here in the Coastal Bend. So the blood supply that is already running low is really being used up.
Yes, exactly. With the 2 tragedies that happened yesterday, which you guys were discussing earlier, you know, that's a prime example of things that can occur on a daily basis, you know, so, and that can deplete our blood supply just within hours.
And it doesn't take just a tragedy to use blood. Some people need it just to survive day to day.
Right, because of certain illnesses or whatnot. So, yeah, we just want to, again, just inform everyone in our community to please come out and donate. It is so important. There is no substitute for human blood. Every 2 seconds, someone is in need of a blood transfusion. So that alone is alarming enough for you guys to hopefully come out and donate every 56 days. That would be ideal for the blood center.
Yeah, and it's like you said, there's no substitution, meaning we cannot create this. This has to be donated. You can't just buy this and fabricate it. And in the Coastal Bend Blood Center, you guys are the primary source for our medical centers here in the area to distribute, right?
That's right. We are the sole provider of blood supply for our local hospitals in our 10-county area.
Incredible. So just to think of the reach that they have here in the Coastal Bend with our 11 counties and how many people you guys are servicing every single day. So what is it like to donate? How easy is it to donate? What do you ask people to do?
Super easy. You have to be 17 years of age or older, have a photo ID, about 25 to 30 minutes of your time. We ask that you fill out a 43 questionnaire, and we do a mini physical where we check your iron and your blood pressure, and that's it.
And do we have to go to the blood center to donate, or how do we find your mobile units?
You can go to our facility. Walk-ins are always welcome, and we also are out in the community 7 days a week. You can find that blood drive location calendar on our website.
All right, got it. KIIITV.com is where you can get that information. They also have another event that's coming up. We'll tag their Facebook page so you can keep up with all of their events. But most importantly, World Blood Donor Day is June 14th.
It's always busy here on the coast.
Thank you.
Traveling in the waters of Coastal Bend are under
1 cup, right?
We
times
do
like
commercial regulations as well as recreational
it goes for 5 to 6 cups. 6 cups. Well, I was saying I only have 1 cup a day. Yeah, I don't know what this constitutes.
We're going to make sure that they have their, proper limits and licenses
wake up super duper early, way before the sun comes up. It is coming up right now. You can see it here on the Lexington camera. Some cumulus clouds way off in the distance, and some of those clouds that you can see are part of a little storm system working through the northern counties of the viewing area. It's 78 right now. Check out the calm waters thanks to the light easterly wind in place at 3 miles per hour. Here you see those showers and storms. They are still north of Highway 59. They're weakening, and they're going to continue to weaken as they move off to the east and southeast. Pettis, you're about to get some lightning, heavy rain in there, probably some gusty winds, but we're not talking severe level activity at this point. Three Rivers just got clipped by the southern fringe of this activity. activity. And again, this is weakening, and it's going to move off to the east and south, well north of the Corpus Christi area. Our chance not going to come in until later this afternoon and into the evening hours, thanks to a disturbance that's working through the panhandle this morning. It's this spin in the upper levels of the atmosphere that will subtly work into northeastern Texas today, and as it moves into that location, it's going to put us in an area that will offer the coastal bend a shot at strong to severe thunderstorms late in the afternoon and into the evening hours of tonight. We're under an enhanced risk for severe weather from San Antonio down to Corpus Christi and then up toward the Victoria area. The main concerns, my opinion, are going to be hail of 1 inch in diameter or greater and winds of 60 miles per hour or greater. Those are going to be the two primary risks. Isolated tornadic storm, that's possible, but it's a lower end risk. And then flooding, I don't think we have any risk at all, because these are going to be fast moving as they come through from north to south, contrary to what we had yesterday with those slower moving heavy tropical downpours coming in from the south. So a different origin to today's rain chance. It's going to be hot and humid before these start to fire up, mid to upper 90s. We will begin to see them start to move in from north to south starting around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, mainly for our northern and western counties of the viewing area. As we get towards sunset, 6, 7, 8 o'clock this evening, that's when we'll see our chance in Corpus Christi come in for these strong to perhaps severe level thunderstorms. Once we're done with this, by about 9 o'clock, we're done with the rain heading into the weekend, and it's going to be the heat that we have to worry about, and that started yesterday. We'll have another very hot day today. Heat advisory going to be in effect from 11 this morning to 8 this afternoon or evening. The heat index 110 or greater for parts of these orange shaded areas. So that includes Corpus Christi, Alice, Kingsville, Falfurrias. Very hot. And in fact, this is some of the hottest weather we've had this season so far. Each day, yesterday we set a record. Today we're going to be close to the record high. And then into the weekend, we are forecasting record high temperatures. So this is going to be very hot. The heat index will be up 110 degrees or so. You've got to be taking precautions. Drinking water is the number 1A thing to do if you have to spend time outside. Sunscreen, wearing hats, light-colored clothing, taking breaks. I use the 20 minutes on, 5 minutes off rule when it's this hot. You've got to be taking in a lot of water, and then don't forget about children, elderly, and your pets. Bring the pets inside today. It's just too hot out there. Storms possible later on in the day, late afternoon, early evening. Before that, it's going to be very hot and humid. Just a light southeasterly wind, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, storm chance will end by about 9 o'clock, and then it'll be calm. Southeast breeze, 5 to 15 miles per hour. From hot to hotter. Oh, 99, 99, 99. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A little front. I know it's not going to be cold, and there's going to be some backlash on social media because of it, but still a little change in air mass from 100 down to 93 will drop temperatures down thanks to this front into early next week. But still, no matter how you slice and dice the forecast, lots of heat headed this way. John
there's going to be plenty of shrimp, I suspect, right?
There'll be shrimp made in every possible way you can think of. Boiled, peeled, you name it. Kind of the Forrest Gump thing. It'll be.
Hi everyone, I'm here with Miss Ernie at Pee-wee's Pet Adoption, and this week we've had some beautiful little puppy dogs, some seniors, some puppies that are looking for a forever home. If you haven't checked us out this week on First Edition, you can go to our website, kitchflytv.com, put in Pause for Pets, and you can see all of the animals that we've been featuring that are looking for loving homes. And Ernie, this little girl here, she's just crying for a forever home.
And we'll have live music.
From Robstown Animal Control. She was found walking around in Nueces County somewhere.
there.
And we will be playing music from
Thank God she didn't have heartworms.
And a lot of local groups will be a part of that?
Don't forget, you've got to treat your dogs by giving them the heartworm medication every month. You can only buy it at a vet. So come to our clinic. Vaccinations are only $10. Heartworm prevention is only like $25 for a 6-month supply. And we will be glad to educate you and give you written information about how to take care of your puppy.
Now, this little girl, you can see she's very vocal. She just wants a home, and we are looking for families to come out here to adopt her. Take a look at the information on your screen and ask about Nancy today.
Park in the satellite lot, and we'll take you right to the gate.
Okay, now people say, hey, I don't know which day I ought to come out. Would you suggest a certain day? Or just
okay, so a new medical study says there's no harm in taking down, you're not going to believe this, up to 25 cups of coffee a day. Dr. Sling Serrani joins us right now. We all drink coffee here in the Marine. I don't know if we don't drink coffee this early in the morning. Is this really okay?
You know, I think
you beat us.
I guess, you know, they liked it. I really liked it. They probably did this study for me because most of the people who are close to me, they know that I drink a lot of coffee. That's the only one of the bad habits I have. 10 to 15 cups are pretty normal. And you know, I always felt that it's bad. There has been a lot of studies. They said, oh, it can be bad, it can be good. But the new study which came out on Monday, I think they presented it in the British Cardiovascular Symposium. And what they found was that drinking up to 25 cups of coffee may not be harmful to make your arteries more tighter, which can affect the heart. And that is kind of a very interesting.
Caffeine that constricts the artery? Or?
That is correct. And you know, one of the things is it also causes kind of a narrowing and a stiffening of the artery. That is the main thing, is stiffening of the artery, which gives a long-term side effect. So what they did is they took 8,000 people and they divided into 3 categories. Somebody who did less than 1 cup, 1 to 3, more than 3 to 25 cups, and they excluded the people who drank more than 25 cups. I guess they probably could not participate. They were probably hooked up to the coffee machine. So what they were found to do is like, I think Alan loves it. What they found was like they did the MRI and they did not find any stiffening even up to 25 cups. But I think, you know, that's a good news for the people who drink coffee. There's some advantages that it prevents colon cancer, some oral cancer, but you've got to realize it's still when you drink caffeine. Caffeine is an adenosine blocker. That is something, you know, which makes you sleepy. So it prevents sleepiness. But when you drink too much, you get jittery, you get insomnia. So there are some side effects which are still there.
I would imagine there's 2 things about this study. 1, you don't want to drink 25 cups in one sitting. But 2, it also depends on what you put in there. If you're loaded up with cream and sugar, that's not good for you.
That is another thing. And then again, the content of the caffeine is important because sometimes, you know, if you drink a coffee which is very, very heavily loaded with caffeine, then you're going to see some of the side effects like anxiety, nervousness, jittery, insomnia. And again, so you try to kill one issue and you're going to get other ones. So bottom line, moderation is the best.
Okay, Dr. Serrani, we appreciate you, sir, and your insight as always. I'm going to tip my coffee to Alan right now, who's keeping track of the forecast. Sir? Hey,
this is 1 cup, right?
Times like,
is this 1 cup?
7. It goes for 5 to 6 cups.
5 to 6 cups.
Well, I was saying I only have 1 cup a day.
Yeah, I don't know what this constitutes.
You know, we need it. We wake up super duper early, way before the sun comes up. It is coming up right now. You can see it here on the Lexington camera. Some cumulus clouds way off in the distance, and some of those clouds.
So in honor of D-Day and the special coverage you just saw, we asked y'all at home to submit photos of veterans if you had somebody that was involved in D-Day. So we're going through some of those right now.
And we actually received some really just great military photos from people honoring military family members. And so we want to give them a shout out this morning. Pete Rodriguez Jr. sent in this photo, and Jessica David Signs sent in a photo of her grandfather, who actually did storm the beaches of Normandy. We just want to say thank you to all of our servicemen and women.
And finally, Jesse Lara, myself and some of my comrades at the VFW Post fell furious. 76-34.
The main storm system, you can see the threat of severe storms across parts of New Orleans.
Well, the high winds on the
the island lately have been bringing in the sargassum, or seaweed, as most of us call it. So be ready for that if you go out to the beach. But as Island Moon newspaper publisher Dale Rankin tells us now, if you look closely at that seaweed, you will find some interesting marine life in there.
A little warmer than us. They're sitting at 94. Look at Seattle and Portland.
For the first time in several years, sargassum weed has started showing up on beaches here on the island. And the first and natural reaction is, get this stuff out of here. It stinks and we don't like looking at it. But experience has taught us that's not such a good idea. For one thing, seaweed helps re-nourish the beach and keep it wide at a time when crews are already struggling to widen it in the wake of recent high tides. But take a look at this. If you take a close look at clumps of seaweed, you'll find it's teeming with sea life. Just look at that. All of this from one handful of seaweed. Catherine Yeager and her husband, nature photographer Gary McClay, often use a saying to show kids why they should leave seaweed alone. What kind of stuff do you find when you pick up sargassum weed?
Because they're little nurseries, you get an entire array of baby fish and puffers. You find seahorses and you find nudibranches. There are even creatures that are specific to the sargassum that camouflage. It's a fantastic array.
Think of it as a floating nursery. And what do you do with them when you find them?
For us, we like to put them in a nice little container, watch them for a little while, study them, and then put them back in the ocean and let them go free.
And that last part is the most important. Check out the critters and then put them back where you found them. Seaweed is our friend.
Oh, most definitely. It makes it a lot of fun for kids, families, and budding scientists of all ages.
So if you're coming to the beach this weekend, bring a tool to move the seaweed aside. And if it smells a little funny, that's okay. Just think of it as Mother Nature's floating critter house. For 3 News and the Island Moon newspaper, I'm Dale Rankin, and we'll see you on the island.
Well, some U.S. Olympians are in town talking about their favorite sport, which happens to be swimming and staying safe on the water. And it's all part of the national tour they're calling Make a Splash, in which athletes promote teaching children how to swim and host drowning prevention classes. Olympians Josh Davis, Colin Jones, and Rowdy Gaines all took part in today's events, including a community swim lesson.
Once you get a child concerns and swimming lessons, you decrease the rate of them drowning by 88%. So, being able to tell these children and tell the parents, more importantly, how important it is to get these children to learn how to swim and share my story of me almost drowning, my mom getting me in the water. It's just kind of something that's harmonious for me to be able to do this.
And by the way, the 3 Olympic athletes that were there today teaching folks how to swim have a total of 8 gold and 4 silver Olympic medals between them.
A fireworks display that was eventually canceled.
And with summer almost here, it's a good bet that more folks will be hitting the beach to cool off, right? And that's why the city of Port Aransas is looking to hire more lifeguards for that city's surf rescue team. The seasonal job requires patrols up and down the beach to keep swimmers safe, but the job is not for the faint of heart. City officials say applicants must pass a series of physical endurance tests.
We need guards that are physically fit. They have to pass a 500-meter swim test. They have to swim that far in less than 10 minutes in our pool. They do daily trainings. They do runs and swims and paddles out on the beach.
That could be fun, right?
It's a tough job, like you said, though.
If you're a young person, well, you must be over the age of 16 to apply. To visit, to find out more, just visit our website, KIITV.com.
Well, the rainy weather has given way now to some dangerous heat.
The last of the Columbus ship replicas now docked in the Corpus Christi Marina is looking for a new owner again. The city of Aransas Pass let it be known today that it is turning down an offer to take possession of the ship. It was back in April that La Nina began taking on water, actually sinking in the marina and requiring a series of repairs. The current association watching over the vessel has been looking for another group to take responsibility for it. And Aransas Pass was reportedly considering putting the ship along their waterfront. But late today, the city manager there in Aransas Pass, Gary Edwards, said they are, and this is a quote, declining the generous offer from Corpus Christi. Edwards saying the city simply can't afford all the costs that would be involved.
Thank you, Tom. On this day, 75
well, controversy today at the Nueces County Commissioners Court meeting. County Judge Barbara Canales read a proclamation recognizing Pride Week, an event celebrated by the gay community. But not all commissioners were on board with that proclamation. Our Brian Burns is here with a look at why one commissioner voted against it. Brian?
Well, Joe, this week is Texas' 4th annual Pride Week, and the commissioners issued a proclamation to give the event recognition. But Commissioner Carolyn Vaughn and some supporters disagree.
I want in the record that I do not support this proclamation or agree with the statements in it.
In spite of what Commissioner Carolyn Vaughn had to say, County Judge Barbara Canales read the statement recognizing Pride Week. Supporters were on hand for the proclamation, but there were several in the audience who agreed with Commissioner Vaughn to not support that proclamation.
What she said was just right. You know, that she didn't say it in so many words, but right is right and wrong is wrong, according to God's word.
There were also some who were on hand to accept the proclamation. We asked their reaction to Vaughn's non-support of the proclamation.
You know, people always have their own views. Bigotry is something that it's hard to fight. I would suggest if people are uncomfortable with our community or feel that we don't belong, get educated, talk to us.
Chandler is looking into that. Today.
Among other things, the proclamation says Pride Week is dedicated to honoring the lives lost in the Pulse shooting, the Pulse nightclub shooting, commemorating the anniversary of the U.S. Supreme Court's marriage equality ruling, and honoring the LGBTQIA+ community. Joe?
All right, Brian, thank you.
I'll have more coming up this evening.
Now to the topic of immigration. Customs, Border, and Protection have released the number of undocumented immigrants apprehended for the month of May. Take a look at these numbers. Nearly 12,000 unaccompanied children were apprehended at the southwest border, a 31.7% increase compared to April. Nearly 89,000 family units were apprehended, a 42.2% increase from April. The agency says these numbers exceed any other month since at least 2014. After today's fatal crash, many of you took to social media to tell us about what you think, what's on your mind. Here's what some of you said to us. Take a look at this. We wanted to hear from you. Okay, and this is what we got. Very sad. These are part of the crisis. This does not need to happen if people want to come here. Another one, prayers for all, but this wouldn't happen if you obeyed the laws. We wanted to hear from the legal community and the people who deal with illegal, or not say illegal, but undocumented aliens, who deal with immigration issues and refugee issues on a daily basis. With me right now is Carrie Thompson, an immigration attorney with IASIS, the local refugee and immigration center. Thank you so much for being with us today, Carrie.
I appreciate it.
I want to get your thoughts on what happened today.
Well, you know, I think we always know some of the facts, right? So I mean, but we do know that there was a number of individuals who died. It appears that many of them were undocumented and who were coming into this country, and so a loss of life for anybody obviously is really tragic. We work with the immigrant community daily. We work with the community, legal, undocumented, intimately on a daily basis, including new arrivals, including individuals who come seeking asylum and protection, and so. Knowing the reasons that people come to this country and the push factors in their own countries, extreme poverty, violence, it's a tragedy to me that individuals have to make the decision to remain or risk their lives. And so whether it's a car accident or they're lost in the brush in South Texas, it's a tragedy to me that in this country we don't have a humanitarian, just way, especially with this administration, to hear these calls for protection, and that we're not, what we're seeing with these increased numbers is that there's a real issue and there's real push factors. And so in a time where we should be opening our doors, we're closing them.
Well, this brings up the issue that many of the folks brought up in our conversation as they reacted to our social media, is it's time for immigration reform. But there are many factors and many facets to immigration reform. What part are you concerned with, obviously?
Well, I think especially in light of today, because when we look at immigration, we see sort of different categories within immigration.
when we see people dying in possibly a high-speed chase or an accident, or we see people dying in the brush, that's specifically dealing with people who are making a very recent entry and who are desperate to come into this country. And to make that type of decision, you have to be fleeing from something very intense. And so, so one facet is, right now, our country does allow for individuals to make claims of asylum or fear. But what we're seeing with this administration is that we're closing the pathways. We're closing, people are coming to ports of entry to make these claims. They're being turned away. And so what's happening is there are no legal pathways. So that's one element. And then, of course, we also want to address the millions who have been here in the country, who have families, who have children, who have been engaged, amazing citizens for all intents and purposes, but because of the ways our immigration laws are written, they cannot get legal status.
Carrie Thompson is a very, very big topic, one that we could discuss for hours on end. Carrie Thompson, Raices, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. Still to come, a look at what we're... Storm chaser who rode out Hurricane Harvey in Rockport was the featured speaker at the annual Hurricane Breakfast this morning. Storm chaser Jeff Petrosky received a #BlueShed, a gift from Rockport business owners at today's event. #BlueShed received a lot of social media engagements during Harvey and served as a survival point for Petrosky.
I've been filming and documenting tornadoes and hurricanes for almost 40 years now, so I do it from a different perspective. I do it all of us to film natural disasters, but also use that with social media today. I think it puts more meaning behind while they evacuated and they made the right decision to leave.
Emergency Management Coordinator Rick McLester and John Metz from the National Weather Service were also present at the event, which, by the way, was also about hurricane preparedness and what the community of Rockport experienced during Harvey.
We want to create better people and help.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us. At the top tonight, we're learning more details about the major crash near Robstown that left 6 people dead, 7 people hospitalized. Several law enforcement agencies are investigating and say this may be a case of human trafficking. It all started last night when Robstown police tried to stop a car for speeding on Highway 77.
Absolutely, it's not about physical, it's not just about the person getting bullied, it's also about the person who becomes a bully. We want to make sure that they become stronger.
Rudy, what we know so far is that all of the people involved were men. We don't know the ages, how old or young they might be, but police do tell us they are from Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Mexico. Now, this all started around 11:30 last night when Robstown police say they tried to stop a Suburban that was speeding on 77 South. Officers say the driver of the Suburban refused to stop and exited towards the fairgrounds. The officer lost sight of the car, then stopped the car on the side of some railroad tracks, actually spotted it, didn't stop it, near the Wells Fargo going towards FM 1694. That's when they lost track of the car and ended their pursuit. Now fast forward to 4 this morning, Metrocom got a call from someone who said a young man was knocking at their door near FM 1694 and County Road 44. Nueces County Sheriff's deputies say when they got there, the man was gone. An hour later, they received another call about 2 young men who were injured and walking near the highway. Deputies say they only spoke Spanish, and the 2 led deputies to a Suburban that had crashed in a ditch around a field nearby. Sheriff's deputies found 6 men dead inside the Suburban and another 6 alive outside the car.
That they're not alone.
But the bailouts and the routine trafficking
they always have someone they can go talk to
County and the 25 miles of Highway 77 is going on as we speak.
Sorry.
Just learn to be themselves and be proud.
Really something
that's the key, right?
We could not stress more.
Hey, before we go, Kurt, I got to ask.
We are suffering with those families because of what's happening 150 miles from here.
We want to be able to have people, enjoy life to the fullest, and being able to do that would also
Sheriff J.C. Hooper says there is an early indication that none of the men were related, and it was a classic appearance of human trafficking. In total, 7 men were taken to the hospital, 4 to Christus Spawn Shoreline, and 3 to Bay Area. Sheriff's deputies say they also took the 2 young men found originally into custody. Now, several agencies are working on this investigation, including CCPD, CCFD, Robstown Police, DPS, Border Patrol, and even the Coast Guard is also involved in this. But right now they are working to identify the people that were found dead and those that are still in the hospital. Now live at Robstown City Hall, Taylor Alanis, 3 News.
All right, thank you, Taylor, for that. And we continue our team coverage now with Bill Churchwell, who's been out on the scene all day as authorities continue to search for people who may be on the run from this crash. He joins us now with the latest on the search. Bill?
Retired as of today.
At least one more still out there, according to Sheriff Hooper during that press conference, and they have been searching everywhere. When I say everywhere, I mean everywhere, including fireworks stands like this one off of FM 1694. They were checking the doors to see if they were secure, and they were also coming around over here to the corner, and they were actually getting on their hands and knees and looking underneath to see if anyone might have been hiding out. Now,
good evening, everybody.
For the second
straight night, a
we
local
also
player has been
both sheriff's deputies and border agents off of Violet, which is FM 24. They were checking a fireworks stand over there as well, and also walking the property, talking with people who live out there in the area to see what they might know. Take a listen.
And the 5th highest ever draft
pick
in the program history.
How long the dogs have been barking, and I told them just when they got here. So we haven't seen anything yet or heard anything. I got German Shepherds, so they usually alert us to anything, anybody suspicious or coming into our property.
So Shane Haxton is regarded as the most successful high jumper.
And this was just one of many locations. The deputies were also out at the TSC Tractor Supply Company over at Highway 77. Nueces County Sheriff Hooper told me that they will continue to respond to reports and ask people in the area to remain vigilant. Again, during that press conference, the sheriff saying that there is at least one more person out there, but we do not know at this point if that was the coyote or not. Reporting live, Bill Churchwell, 3 News. Now back to you.
All right, thank you, Bill, for that. Meantime, the Bucks County Sheriff is weighing in on that accident because it involved suspected undocumented immigrants. Though they rarely see accidents with several fatalities, he says it highlights the links people will go to get into our country. Madeline Dart tells us what he has to say. Maddie?
Yeah, Rudy, officials have told us there were at least 13 people in that car. Brooks County Sheriff Benny Martinez says they've seen an increase in undocumented immigrants in the South Texas area, many of them sneaking onto private land in hopes that they won't get caught. Sheriff Martinez says they see at least 2 to 3 bailouts a week, and while amount of the bailouts per week has decreased from past numbers, they're seeing more people per group sneaking across the border. He says it's incidents like the crash in Robstown that show how many people can get across in just one vehicle.
Or so, but she definitely has that in her.
What occurs, the end result.
There's a possibility she could come over
as a law enforcement.
All right, well, that's some bragging right there. Now, later this month, Hansen hopes to qualify for the Pan American Games, and she's also going to make a serious run at the Olympic qualifying next year.
Martinez says it's important for all law enforcement agencies to communicate to intercept the amount of undocumented immigrants coming through the border. And later on 3 News at 6 p.m., hear what's being done to both stop undocumented criminal immigrants and help those who are just trying to reach a safer place.
3/4 inches from its current mark of 20 feet 9 inches.
Meantime, the Nueces County Health District teamed up with city leaders today in an effort to raise awareness on vaccinations and why it's important to be aware of dangerous illnesses. Nueces County Judge Barbara Canales, along with other city officials and county officials, had their MMR vaccinations this morning at Commissioner's Court. The vaccine is used against measles, which can be deadly when left untreated. Canales encourages others to take control of their health and to put an end to preventable diseases.
To be able to do a simple vaccine to prevent this terrible disease is part of our responsibility. For a nanosecond, to have a lifetime of prevention, that's so well worth it.
Hi everyone, welcome back. Symptoms of measles include coughing, runny nose, or even a rash that covers the body. For more information on preventative measures, contact the Nueces County Public Health District, numbers 361-826-7220.
Look at our Nissan Automotive 6 weather boat off in Kingsville.
Now to another fatal accident that once claimed the life of a man in that same area. We now know the name of the victim. Robstown police say 21-year-old Nicholas Tovar from Corpus Christi died on scene. It was just after 2 this morning on Highway 77 near County Road 44 that involved an 18-wheeler and a car. Authorities say rainy weather conditions and possibly speed are believed to be the main factors in this crash. The medical examiner's office says Tovar died from blunt force trauma. The accident is still under investigation.
Welcome back to First Edition. Legoland in San Antonio officially opened. I have Chase Hathaway, marketing director over there. It looks like you're getting ready to interview me.
For Victor Salter, and he
it's
is
more
out near
appropriate that
the
way,
Carmel Parkway
but we got to
area.
talk about you. This is so much excitement. This is like, it's a kid's thing, but it's really for adults too.
Was early in the morning, anywhere between about 2 to 6 early in the morning there. However, after the rain was done, we achieved a record high 97 degrees. The previous record was 96 back in 2018, so that was last
people
year.
Here in Corpus Christi.
Drive down I-37.
One of my favorite things, and we're going to get to meet the master model builder in a little bit, but y'all did a 3-use logo for us.
Exactly.
So what does it take to put something on like this, and what really draws in the families?
That'll push into the northern sections of the coastal bay.
Lego is it's all about creativity and having fun. So you don't have to be a pro expert builder. You just have to know how to have fun. The great thing with Lego, you learn while you're having fun, and that's what we're all about, is having fun, creating memories, and building fun things.
Kids don't realize that they are learning to follow steps, order of operation. But there's, Lego has captured so much of just the common time and era. I mean, from Lord of the Rings to EMS, I mean, police, all that stuff. You have a creation for everything out there.
We'll start off warm and humid once again, and again, there's a passing shower by noontime. Again, the northeastern sections of the coastal bend, that'll occur a little bit later, about 5,
fun experience for families. We have rides, we have build and test zones, you race cars there. There's so much fun things to do.
Okay, so much to learn, so much more to learn about what's going on here with Legoland in San Antonio. We're going to have a lot more of that coming up. Also, I see Alan playing around over here. Alan, you're supposed to be working on your weather. Oh, you're working on a graphic right now?
So drink plenty of water out there.
Okay, well, we're going to find out what that's about after the break. Keep it here. You're watching 3 News First Edition.
And make sure your outdoor pets have some shade and some cool water.
Weather segment, Kristen. We do have some showers and tropical downpours to talk about here. You can see them. They are along the Gulf Coast here, mainly in coastal counties.
But as that exits,
what's wrong with my clicker here? It's not working.
Very warm temperatures as high pressure takes over.
I did it. We're not made a Lego clicker. We do have showers. They are dropping heavy rain, but we're just about finished with this activity. Real Deal works a lot better. You can see Rockport, Fulton, the Coconut Bay area, San Jose Island, north of Port Aransas. All of this is pretty heavy rain, 1 to 2 inches per hour on the rainfall rate. You may hear some rumbles of thunder. You can see some lightning offshore there. Port Aransas, Ingleside, Aransas Pass. That's where the heaviest rain is at this point. 361 into Port Aransas is going to be quite wet. There may be some puddled water. I haven't seen any reports of flooding. But this is rain that is going to be dropping again 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches per hour. So 361 is going to be a very wet commute. We actually do have a flash flood or aerial flood advisory in effect for 361. That is brand new information right there. Just noticed that. You can see the island starting to see the showers moving offshore. So once this moves out, we should catch a little bit of a break in the rain, but between 1 and 3 inches on average for a lot of Corpus Christi and into that 361 area from this morning's tropical downpours that we've been talking about for the entire week. Between 1 and 3 inches, looking like that is coming true here this morning here with the rains that we've had. 80 degrees right now, winds are fairly calm, and this is thanks to this trough now of low pressure. This was the Invest 91L. That is no more. It's just a weak tropical wave that's going to be moving in here and over the area today. Lots of rain over in the Houston area, southeastern Texas. And again, that's the culprit for our rain chances this morning. We should trend drier this afternoon with that moving to the north and east. And then tomorrow, it's this spin over in the Four Corners region that will work into the state and provide us a chance, but a very small chance at some isolated showers or storms late Thursday afternoon or early evening tomorrow. Today, the morning's going to be the most active time frame, and I think we've already had the worst of what's to come today. That's all, again, moving into the coastal and barrier islands this morning, and then we're going to see a little break probably, but we'll keep the chance in play for the morning and early afternoon for these tropical showers to work into and out of the area, into the middle and late portions of the afternoon. Rain chances should be trending down. It'll be quiet tonight, and then tomorrow, mid-90s.
Still more empowered.
At shot at an isolated shower or storm late afternoon or early evening. Today, 90, the busiest time of the day in terms of rain, will be the morning with those tropical downpours. Less activity in the afternoon. Southeast winds 7 to 17 miles per hour. Tonight, we're going to stay in the upper 70s. It'll be warm and humid outside and generally rain-free tonight. Small shot at an isolated shower later in the day Thursday, but the temperatures, that's going to be the headline for our weather. It's going to get hot and then hotter into the weekend. 99 Saturday. Forecast high. That's not a heat index. That's a high temperature of 100 on Sunday. And then a big cold front. Just kidding. It's a front, but it's only going to drop us back down to near seasonal normal. Low 90s here on Monday and Tuesday. So do expect lots of heat heading into the upcoming weekend. John Thomas.
Back here, Governor Greg Abbott took to social media this week announcing the signing of a new bill into law that would allow certain businesses to deliver alcohol right to your doorstep. The new law gives restaurants the chance to deliver alcoholic beverages along with food items. And our Taylor Adenese has a look at how this could impact local restaurants.
We're chasing an SUV closely.
Joe, in the near future, people craving that late-night craft beer from their favorite restaurant won't even have to leave their home in order to taste it.
Have you ever ordered food or groceries from a retailer
with serious injuries had knocked on their door asking for help? By the time officers arrived, the man was nowhere to be found. About an hour later, Nueces County Sheriff's deputies saw two young men who seemed to be injured walking along the side of the highway. That's when officers say they learned startling new details.
Enjoy responsibly.
The two young men.
Yep, alcohol lovers rejoice. You don't even have to leave your doorstep to drink from your favorite restaurant's beer or wine list.
I think it's awesome. Hey, if I don't have to drive to get alcohol, that's great.
So it took first responders
HB
a lot of effort
2152 now signed into law allows bars, restaurants,
6
and
men
other
dead in
businesses
that
with
SUV
mixed
and
beverage
7
permits to deliver
ejected.
beer and
Those
wine
crash
themselves
victims from
or
Mexico
through a
and
third
various
party.
countries throughout Central America.
It has the classic
Right now, grocery
experience
giants
of
like
human
HEB
trafficking
offer alcohol
in the
delivery,
sense
but
that they
local
were
restaurant
from
owners
different
say they're
countries,
happy
and
it's
early
their turn.
indication
To be able to
is they
pair
were
any of our
unrelated.
entrees with a classic
So it
Thai
has the
beer
classic
or any craft
appearance
beer
of human
bottle of
trafficking,
wine would make for a
which
more
is a problem
unique takeout
because of what's
experience.
going
But
on
if you think you can
150
grab your
miles from here
go-to
on the Mexican
cocktail,
border,
yeah,
on the Mexican
not
border.
happening. The law
Emily
says the
Hamilton,
drink must be
for
delivered
6
in an
News.
original,
At last,
sealed,
Border
single-serving
Patrol agents
container.
and
The
area law
alcoholic drinks
enforcement
can only be
agencies were
delivered
still
by
looking
and
for at
to
least
someone
one
at
person
least 21
believed to be
years old,
involved
and
in
the
that
person
crash,
ordering must
possibly the
provide their
driver.
ID during
In
the
total,
delivery
6 men
and
were
sign a
killed
receipt.
and 7
It's a safer
taken to
way to
area
have people
hospitals.
at home versus going out, and get drunk, drinking and driving.
With your
But hold on to your can and wine openers. You won't be able to grab that restaurant drink from the comfort of your own home because that law doesn't go into effect until
So Shane
September
Hansen
1st.
is regarded as
Joe.
the most successful high jumper
We'll go into
in
effect.
Islander
All right,
track
Taylor,
history.
thank you.
For good reason now. The senior from Jamaica has qualified for the NCAA championships this Saturday up in Austin. A lot of folks think she has a real legitimate chance to bring back the gold medal. Earlier this year, she jumped 6 foot and 3/4, a new school record, by the way. And who knows, that could be real close to the winning number. She is obviously an outstanding jumper, and I asked her about the key now to generating so much height to clear the bar.
I have a pretty good approach. I just have to try and stay same speed, increase my speed when I need to.
Governor Greg Abbott
So it's really about just starting out, going through my curve, just leaning and just generating power, try to stay, just come off really fast, because the faster you come off, like, the better it is, you generate more power. So, and over the bar, I mean, I'm not the best, but I get so much hop I get so high, I don't really have to focus that much on it. But I have been trying to improve it, so if I can really just tie that together, it's going to be really awesome.
If she just does what she consistently does, she should medal. To win, if she jumps what she jumped earlier this year, it'll be close. That could be the winning height. May take a couple more centimeters or so, but she definitely has that in her, and I definitely think that there's a possibility she could come away national champion.
All right, well, you heard it first right there. Hansen hopes to qualify for the Pan American Games down the road and hopes to make a serious run at Olympic qualifying next year. And I got to tell you, the heat index was 110 the day we shot this video, so it was hot, 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 and she was out there doing some great work.
This is Chris 6 News at 6.
And welcome back. Governor Greg Abbott has signed a bill into law that will create a registry of veterans who are exposed to toxins while serving overseas.
A local group called Burn Pits 360 worked to get that law passed. Chris 6 News reporter Jeremiah Marshall met with some of the members of that group today.
Katya, this bill was known as HB 306, or the Service Member and Veteran Open Burn Pit Registry Act. Members with Burn Pits 360 say they hope this new state law will put pressure on Congress to provide service for our veterans.
Exposure to harmful fumes, waste, and chemicals can bring some scary damage to your body. And for veterans who deal with these dangers while protecting our country, the medical history of their service-related health issues can be stored in a statewide registry.
You know, people may look great on the outside, but on the inside they're dying slowly.
Burn Pits 360 says the information collected in the statewide registry can help veterans get into programs that provide access to benefits, compensation, and health care. And the nonprofit says that's just the beginning.
What we hope to do later on is to partner with independent researchers, right, where they would lend their knowledge to connecting the dots.
Torres says the nonprofit has been pushing for the registry for about a decade. She says this is a step forward in helping our veterans, but there's still more work to be done.
It's a humbling experience because, you know, we all commit so much of our time to this cause because we are those families affected.
Veterans who want information on this registry or who want to provide their health history can contact Burn Pits 360 or the VA. We've got links to both of them on our website, christv.com.
All right, Jeremiah, thank you. And the nonprofit is also launching a program that's going to help educate the public on this law. By the way, HB 306 will go into effect on September 1st.
Now, Chris 6 News at 6 continues.
Here's a question. Could 4-year terms be on the table for members of the Corpus Christi City Council?
Well, as we have reported, the council voted to form a charter review committee with longer terms as the focus. And this isn't the first time that this topic has come up. Chris 6 News reporter Greg Chandler is live in the studio. And Greg, I understand any change has to be approved by voters.
That's right, Katya. In the last charter review, longer terms never made the ballot. That was 3 years ago. 8 of 9 current council members weren't even in office yet. District 2 council member Ben Molina is leading the charge this time because he believes 2-year terms stunt the city's growth.
Had it not been for 2-year term limits, we'd be a lot further than we are right now.
District 2 council member Ben Molina is serving his second 2-year term. He calls his first term, especially the first year, a roller coaster.
You're drinking from a fire hose the first year, and then the second year you're running right into election mode. There's not a whole lot of time that we can commit to actually doing work that moves the city forward.
This term, only 2 council members are brand new. Molina believes that kind of continuity helps the council make decisions which help the city.
There's so much growth, so much potential that we're actually reaching right now because we have an established council.
4-year council terms were last discussed by the 2015-16 council. Precinct 1 County Commissioner Carolyn Vaughn was District 1 council member at the time. She says back then, the Charter Review Committee didn't recommend putting longer terms on the ballot because then Mayor Nelda Martinez didn't support them. Molina believes that's an example of council members voting with their future in mind, rather than the city's. Especially with every seat up for re-election every 2 years.
If you're not thinking about re-election, you can focus on the task at hand, you can focus on the things that matter, the things that are going to move the city forward.
Now, Molina says he's had plenty of what he calls productive discussions with other council members about longer terms. He's confident the issue will make it on the 2020 ballot. Back to you.
All right, great. Thank you, Molina's House as a Charter Review Committee hasn't been formed yet because at least one council member has not submitted their nomination.
Well, if you live along the Laguna Shores Drive out in Block, get ready for some traffic hassles. Weather permitting, that stretch of Laguna Shores between Graham Road and Knickerbocker Street will be closed starting this Friday. The closure is expected to last 2 weeks. The city says it's necessary so that crews can do some utility work out in that area. Well, the 2020 presidential election is still a long way off, and the political pundits in the media aren't giving it a lot of thought.
Now, yesterday, Meet the Press's Chuck Todd, he actually took the time to share his thoughts with our own Rick Sproul, who tells us Texas is not quite a battleground state, but is one to watch heading into next year.
My name.
That's right. A group of reporters from across the state met with Todd yesterday in Dallas for what was an informal, very candid discussion of the issues heading into 2020. One thing is clear, Texas remains a Republican state, but national pundits like Todd are watching closely as voting blocks in larger Texas cities have shaded Democrat in recent elections.
Can Democrats win here with a national Democratic message? Do they need a unique Texas angle to win? Not to get close. We know demographics are going to get them close, but to win, it seems as if they have to come out, and that to me is the question that I have.
I also asked Todd to venture an early guess on the presidential candidate most likely to raise Republican pulses in Texas next year. He said, no question, it's Beto O'Rourke.
It does strike me that without Beto, without a Texan on the ticket, that it feels like this will be a interesting state to watch on election night to see how close Democrats get, but that's all it will be to see. How close did they get this year?
Rick Sproul, Chris 6 News.
By the way, reporters from markets all over Texas took part in yesterday's discussion with the Meet the Press team. Among the hottest topics, media credibility, tariffs, and of course, immigration. So we had some Olympians in town today, some Olympic gold and silver medal winners paying a visit to Portland.
And it came with a life-saving message. The USA Swimming Foundation and Phillips 66 sponsored the visit by medal winners Cullen Jones, Rowdy Gaines, and Josh Davis. And they presented this $2,500 check to the city of Portland. The city will use that money to provide free or reduced cost swimming lessons to local youngsters. All this part of a nationwide effort to reduce the number of drownings in this country every year.
We're drowning at an epidemic level, and there's a reason for that. It's because there's a lack of swim lessons for people to learn how to swim.
Cullen Jones says this is an issue pretty close to his heart. He nearly drowned when he was just 5 years old. Yeah. But since then, he's gotten pretty good in the water. 2 gold medals and 2 silver medals at the Olympics. And welcome back. It's been about 3 years now since 2 men robbed a bank over on Staples Street.
Corpus Christi Police Department is working with the FBI to catch the 2 crooks, and it's our crime of the week.
These guys went in on an average day at the bank. They terrorized several of the tellers, and we're not going to stand for that in our community.
Now, surveillance video does show the 2 men robbing the Value Bank, which is on Staples. This is back in December of 2016. The men demanding cash from the tellers, but never really showed a weapon. We're told they did get away with cash, and no one was hurt.
We understand that it's been 3 years since this robbery occurred, but we're not giving up. Corpus Christi PD is not giving up on finding these guys and bringing them to justice.
And if you have any information about this bank robbery or these suspects, just call Crime Stoppers. An arrest could earn you a cash reward. There's another deadly crash near Robstown early this morning. This one shut down Highway 77 for several hours. 21-year-old Nicholas Tovar was headed north towards Calallen when he was involved in an accident with an 18-wheeler. Tovar died at the scene. The driver of the 18-wheeler was not hurt. An accident, by the way, happening around 2:30 this morning.
This is Chris 6 News at 5.
Good evening, everyone. It was truly a heartbreaking scene. 6 people killed and 8 others injured.
That happened late last night just east of Robstown. An SUV carrying more than a dozen people crashed into a drainage ditch on FM 1694 just north of State Highway 44. Chris 6 News reporter Emily Hamilton has been following the story all day long. She joins us now from the scene of that crash. And Emily, I understand you just attended a news conference with some law enforcement agents about what happened.
Lee, in that press conference, the Robstown EMS chief said in his 13 years on the job, this was one of the worst, most gruesome crashes images he's ever seen, and several new details about the investigation were released, primarily by Nueces County Sheriff John Chris Hooper, who says because based on the age of the people in the car, the number of the people in the car, and their immigration status, this is being investigated as a human trafficking case. Now, we want to walk you through the details of just how exactly all of this took place. Last night, a little after 10, Robstown police were led on a chase by an SUV closely matching the description of this morning's crash, but because of weather conditions and rural terrain out here, they lost sight of that vehicle, and the pursuit was called off just before midnight. Then, around 4 a.m., law enforcement officers were dispatched to a home in Robstown, where the homeowner said 2 men with serious injuries knocked on their door asking for help. But by the time officers arrived there, those men were nowhere to be found. Now, a little over an hour later, Nueces County Sheriff's deputies saw 2 men who seemed to be injured walking along the side of the highway. That's when officers say they learned there were more people involved and critically injured. And about an hour later, officers found the scene of that deadly crash with deceased passengers still inside that SUV and several others ejected.
Two young men, there were numerous people either dead or severely injured. And it was shortly after 7 a.m. that the crash was located. And it was a significant distance from pavement. So it took first responders a lot of effort to get down to the scene.
It's summer vacation. A lot of people tend to come out.
Now, at this time, Border Patrol agents as well as Nueces County Sheriff's deputies are still looking for one person believed to be involved in that crash, potentially the driver of that vehicle. In total, 6 men were killed in that crash and 7 were taken to area hospitals. Now, those 2 men that alerted Sheriff's deputies of the location of that crash, they have been taken into custody for questioning. And the U.S. Border Patrol and the Nueces County Sheriff's Office is leading this investigation. Lee?
All right, Edwin, thank you very much for that update.
There is brought to you by Wilcox Furniture. Great furniture delivered fast and guaranteed low prices. Now, the most accurate forecast in South Texas with meteorologist Juan Acuna.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the Wilcox Furniture Forecast, and we are talking about the hot temperatures there, and I'll tell you, they are on the way, so certainly be ready for it. But we had to deal with a little bit of rainfall early this morning, and many of us are saying, what rain? Well, it occurred right near the coastline, right into the eastern half of the Corpus Christi area and right on the island. Again, Port Aransas is picking up officially almost 7 inches of rain and almost 3.5 out around the Rockport area. Inland areas didn't get almost anything, maybe just a couple of hundreds, but that was about it. We still have plenty of moisture, tropical moisture on the surface, so as we go into tonight and into tomorrow, we could squeeze out 1 or 2 little lonely showers, but for the most part, the threat of heavy tropical downpours has now exited the coastal bend. We continue to have a small craft advisory for the offshore waters. Boaters and mariners continue to use caution out there. Coastal flood advisories for the northeastern sections pushing up around Matagorda Bay. So if you are going to be headed in that general direction, use caution there, and of course continue to use caution here too, as the bays are still running a little bit choppy. If you have plans for this evening, plan on that humidity to be out there accompanying you as we drop to 83 here at 10 o'clock. South-southeasterly winds only about 6 to 12 miles an hour. So a warm and humid start to the day. Only a passing shower for tomorrow. Again, favoring the inland areas perhaps and the northern sections as we get that wraparound moisture as that system exits off to the northeast. But again, I think most of us are going to stay dry. And by 5 o'clock, heat indices once again pushing 106 to 112 here. That means inland areas could be pushing around 115. And we'll be at 96 degrees on our way to 97. That would be another record-tying high for us here. 98 out at the Naval Air Station and out around Alice, San Diego, pushing up near Alfred, Falfurrias, Hermanville, Fremont, all of our inland areas, Benavides, Freer. We're talking about triple-digit heat. Use caution if you're going to be working outdoors. Drink plenty of water, and because Mother Nature not really going to help us in that aspect. We will look for just less than isolated for tomorrow, but after that, the rainfall opportunity begins to escape us. We're just looking at a few little showers off into the southwestern half of our viewing area with some cloud coverage, but for the most part, we have a lot of dry air that's filtering in. Little disturbance off in West Texas, once again providing showers and storms for those folks, but this tropical rain is continuing to inundate from Louisiana
Louisiana all the way into East Texas and a good chunk of the southeastern half of the United States. This is going to continue to be a big rainmaker for those folks over the next several days and dump anywhere between 5 even up to 10 inches of rain for some locations as this pushes off. So as this moves away from us here, you can certainly bet that high pressure is going to be taking over. As we look at the upper levels of the atmosphere, there goes this one little disturbance, and boy, high pressure is going to start to build right on in. Look at some of these very hot temperatures as we go in. Those are the brighter colors, even some pink showing up. That's for Friday, on into Saturday as well, and even on into Sunday. We're still looking at scorching temperatures here in the coastal bend, so let's look at it on the future tracker. By tomorrow afternoon, we are seeing those temperatures reach the middle to upper 90s, triple digits for the western locations. And as we look at heat indices and the heat index forecast for tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be ranging. These are on the hour, so these could still go up to about 110 to 112. And then as we push on forward into Friday, getting close to 110 as well. But for some locations, these are going to be pushing around 115 to even 118 degrees at this point. As we take a look at our NEC Co-op Energy 7-day forecast, again, a small chance of a shower or two for tomorrow. That's about it, though. 99 on Friday as well as on Saturday. I'm going to go